still muted. There we go. I'm not muted anymore. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm testing this out. I have never done a just chat stream before. I usually had like just chat rants at the end of my previous streams. But this will be a new one. We're going to unmute everybody and say hello, everybody. Let's be a cacophony. No, no, hello.
Hello.
You gotta go say.
Oh God.
So yeah.
Quiet cacophony. Weird.
Yeah.
Not on brand.
Not on brand. No cacophony. Coffee. So yeah, I wanted to join up with a bunch of dino tubers who also have ADHD to share experiences, because some people, a lot of my time since moving back was talking with people, because this area is just full of ADHDers, and people are like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's been interesting to explain to people, like, I have like 30 thoughts going in my head, and apparently that's not common, and they just turn, it's like, but I have that too. I'm like, congrats, you have ADHD. That's like going down the list of symptoms. Like, oh my God, like, you might want to go check out a doctor. There's so many cuties everywhere. Yes, there's many cuties.
I'm not a cutie. I will fight. I will go roar. I will
Roar.
roar.
Say that while your PNG is a fluff monster, so.
I know.
No, I feel attacked.
All right.
Say that.
The time to be called out nonstop throughout the stream. I know it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. My Twitter's just full of calling myself out.
I'm gonna dig my own grave today.
It's okay.
I love you
So
guys.
I guess my first thing will be, yeah, everybody here has ADHD. I'm pretty sure you all know everybody, right? Who doesn't know who's on screen? I think the only one you might not recognize is Edlrisaur, because he's an egg at the moment.
They.
Sorry, they.
Oh, I love how you just pop out of the egg.
Yes, I told you, it's adorable.
No, I'm actually to see it. It's funny. I love it.
They're working on their redesign.
So it's a surprise. So yeah, my first thing on the list is like, it was going to be officially like, are you officially diagnosed, or were you self-diagnosed? I'm self-diagnosed. I'm pretty sure I might have been diagnosed when I was a child, but I never took medication for it. I grew up knowing I had ADHD, but I'm currently not a medicated person. I do want to get diagnosed again so I can have meds, just to make life easier, because goddamn, it's hard as an adult.
I mean, when I was younger, I got diagnosed at a really young age. But a lot of people, so back in the day when I got diagnosed, we didn't really know what autism was yet, or Asperger's. So I used to take a lot of medication, but the medication didn't really help me. It just, instead of just like calming my mind down, it made me really tired. But now that I'm older and was diagnosed with autism or high function Asperger's when I was about, 13 years old, I want to get re-diagnosed with ADHD, because let me tell you, I hate getting off topic or be like not lacking motivation.
So you're AuDHD?
Yes,
Oh.
it's not fun. I hate
No,
it.
I imagine not so, because ADHD thrives in chaos, and autism thrives in control.
It's hard. I get distracted very easily, and I get really bad because of having both. My doctor was trying to give me ADHD medicine, but because my insurance didn't cover it, it's a lot of money just to pay out of pocket. But I want I want, like, kind of like what you're talking about. I want to get re-diagnosed so that way I can actually get medication to kind of help, keep my thoughts from racing.
I do understand that. I've actually researched, if you have AuDHD, you can take one medication or other, and it just drives the other one out of control. Like, you can't be medicated for both because it's just not gonna work out.
That's
That's a
what
big fear of
happened.
I have is that I might be AuDHD, and I'd rather take the medication for the ADHD than the autism just because the noise is just so much.
Yeah, I don't like loud noises. I don't. I can't tolerate high pitched noises and everything. I think a lot of it affects my everyday life at home, like at home, because I have a hard time completing tasks. So a lot of times it's not because I don't want to do it. I get distracted very easily. I'll be like squirrel, and I lose motivation to do stuff.
Jess?
Mm, I am also diagnosed, but I was not diagnosed until late 20s, like 28 or something.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I didn't notice in childhood because I grew up in a military family, which means even though ADHD wants chaos, it thrives in structure. So having a hyper rigid structure my entire childhood life turns out mitigates all the symptoms of ADHD when you have somebody standing there making sure that you're doing your homework.
Oh, that's so crazy.
But yeah, then you get into college and you suddenly don't have parents helicoptering over you to make sure that you get everything done on time, and then your life falls apart and you don't know why.
That's me.
So that was my experience. Really bad. Now I have medication, but medication's kind of hit and miss right now. We're going through the cycle of building up enough tolerance to the meds that I need to find a different solution because it turns out meds are their own spiritual journey of figuring out what works for you in your life. Ooh.
Yeah, and even when you find ones that work, you can plateau at a certain point.
Yeah. So that's fun to say the least. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of ADHD too, because there's a lot of overlap between the two. But I don't really care for getting diagnosed for that because the main problem is the ADHD. But I have the sandpaper in the brain ADHD where I
Sandpaper in
get
the brain?
distracted. Yeah, it's a Markiplier has a bit on it. I'll have to send it to you later, but he talks about his experience with ADHD, and it's kind of like the executive dysfunction of. He describes his as sandpaper in the brain, where you are sitting there paralyzed and screaming inside your own head, and it's like your brain cells are rubbing up against sandpaper because you want to do the thing, but you
Oh,
can't do the thing even though you're sitting there, whether it's something you want to do or have to do or like to do, it affects everything that you're doing and you just can't do it.
and
And
it's
it's
so hard to
horrific.
explain to people because like, "You're just lazy." Like, "No, I literally cannot do it." So I explained it as I came across, I think it's ADHD Alien. She explained it as, knowing how to cook, and you come across an oven, but it has no knobs. You have all the ingredients, but you don't have the tools to access it because your mind won't let you access it. Mine, I explain as doors. I'm in a room with doors that lead to fun things, and the doors I need to do are chalk outlines. They're just not
That
accessible. But the fun doors are open.
yeah, that's like the thing. Like for me, um, like doing tasks at home, like doing the dishes, make sure like doing laundry, and I know it needs to be done. It's just my brain. It's kind of like for me is it's like the motivation to do it because
It's not
that
fun.
one of the biggest things that actually helps me is writing a list, like a checklist. And my mom and dad
And
used to do.
checking it twice.
Oh my god, dang it. Um, but another thing is, it's like I don't like sitting still. Like I don't think you guys have this problem in real life. When I first started my career, my job, you guys know what I do for a living. I used
Yeah.
to rock in a chair really bad, look like I'm gonna break the chair.
And so you fidget.
Yeah,
Mine
right.
is my bad fidgets are chewing the inside of my mouth, chewing my tongue, my fingernails, and I slap my head. I slap my head pretty hard. Those are my weird fidgets. The other fidgets aren't so annoying, like noises from my mouth and stuff. So I'll do popping noises, trills, and things like that.
Mhm.
Stomp my feet. I do a lot of stomping my feet. That's just
I
called stimming.
I
The
used to
leg
do
bounce.
like you guys heard me do the duck sound a couple times on call, and you guys are like, Feather, what the heck? And I'm like, that was me. I'm sorry. I get really embarrassed because sometimes I think it like it's like it if I'm nervous sometimes, so I do it, but I normally try to do it quietly. It just helps like relax me.
Mhm.
But another thing is like at work, I had to learn not to rock. It was like I had to like it was more I had to overcome it. I still rock. It's never gonna go away. Like I can control it now, but sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, the stimming is learning. I spent like a couple years researching the disability. That was my 2020. That was my egg moment. Um, Understanding stimming and why we do it. Um, for me, like noises, is to silence all the extra voices in my head. Um, the flappy hands is just I have a little bit of energy or I'm overstimmed and I need something to kind of focus on. Stompy is I just need a noise. My popping noises, my trills, I'll do lots of like vocal noises. But all the like chewing on my tongue and inside my mouth is a stress relief one. So people can't see it. Trying to deal with stims that people won't see versus ones that I know will annoy people.
I think another one is uh uh I gotta my brain like sorry sometimes
Okay.
my brain my mind moves faster than my mouth and I stumble over my own words.
That's an ADHD thing.
I hate it sometimes. I hate that sometimes I don't think before I speak sometimes. So sometimes I can say things and not mean to.
Well, great.
Um
Edlrisaur, are you diagnosed or undiagnosed?
I have been diagnosed since I was a wee small.
Oh,
So I've been dealing with this shit for a while.
how long have you been medicated or were you been medicated?
I was medicated for it when I was a kid. For different circumstances, I stopped being for a while, and at this point, I'm medicated for other mental conditions that are kind of take priority over the HD, if that makes sense. EA,
Oh, totally
depression,
understand.
anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety. I think anxiety meds can't function with it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's I'm in currently in a pick your poison kind of situation with the medication.
oh no.
I did that for a while too, but um mine turned out more that the ADHD was the root cause of the other things. So then after you like take the ADHD meds and learn to manage the ADHD better, the anxiety got less because it was you could like figure out how to manage it through therapy or doing exercises or exposure and stuff. And then it's like, oh, okay, it turns out like I have depression, but it's way less than if I take ADHD meds and manage that, it shrinks down versus taking depression meds and my ADHD being out of control, making it worse.
Yeah, so I researched that one. Suffer from I've been suffering some from depression since I've been 15. Um, that you can go into this weird spiral with ADHD because you'll focus on it, which makes your depression worse. So I had to go to the route of getting my depression under control, which really helped. It was really weird to be like, I can just be happy. And then anxiety pills are like, I I can just not be in fight or flight mode my whole fucking time. Like I'm not terrified this whole fucking time. Super weird. Allowed me to focus on other things. But yeah, it was interesting like researching finding out I was like we hyper focus on our weird disorders that we're going through to make them
Yes.
even worse. That's why we'll be like for assigned female at birth, we'll be diagnosed with bipolar anxiety and depression before we'll be diagnosed with autism or ADHD, just because those symptoms will present so much worse due to the other two disabilities focusing on those problems.
And I just learned about PMDD, so the depression might just be that. Hooray!
What is
Yay!
PMDD?
I think
Post-menstrual dysphoric disorder. It
Oh shit!
basically, whenever you get your hormonal period cycle as a assigned female at Earth, you have a horrific, like, there's a variety of symptoms you can get. It can be like really bad physical symptoms, really bad like emotional state, suicidal tendencies. It just like, but it's all like focused on your hormone cycle. And so by mitigating the dip in your hormones, because that's what causes that for me anyway, I would get like extremely depressed and like borderline suicidal. But it turns out it was just a hormone issue. So now that I'm treating that, it brought everything up. So now I'm like, if I get depressed, it's only because it's that time of month. Fuck. God damn it.
It's
Turns
so
out you were there
fucking
the whole
weird.
time.
I think
That's so
for
weird.
I think for me is like I am a bundle English. I am a bundle of sticks. I have depression, anxiety, eating disorder, ADHD, and autism. What a fun bail on the basket. Well, I can't in English right now. Like having all of that on top of that, it's just trying. So like right now, I'm trying to get back on the right track. Like I'm trying to eat better, like eating better food options than junk food. Like junk food's a comfort food.
It is. So that is actually another trait of ADHD is we seek dopamine. We have a dopamine deficiency in our brains. That's why we cannot complete tasks. We personally just don't produce enough, besides our neural networking just not fucking working correctly. Uh, so in order for us to, we constantly seek dopamine. That's why we'll get distracted and do fun things instead of the task at hand. Um, so part of that seeking the dopamine is eating the junk food, drinking the coffee, and the coffee helps us regulate our ADHD because caffeine acts a little differently for us because it will actually like settle us down. That's why I like the joke is drink an energy drink and you pass out. It's self-medicating. Same with the
But it's
sugars. It's a
also
self-medication.
ironically self-destructive, which I learned about this. So it's like self-medicating, but even though the caffeine calms you down, it still boosts your cortisol levels, which plays into your anxiety and makes it worse.
Oh,
Because even though the
fantastic.
caffeine doesn't affect you, your cortisol's fucking through the roof, and that's not great for you either.
I think for me is coffee doesn't do anything for me. I could literally drink coffee and go to sleep. It doesn't relax me.
Yeah.
I think it's because I drink so much I didn't like coffee until I was like 19. And that's because I there was I didn't realize there's like different types of coffee you can get. I love iced coffee, and I can literally drink a whole bunch of caffeine. It helps me think better, but it doesn't. You know how like coffee's supposed to like wake you up and like mellow you out. No, coffee doesn't even make me hyper.
Wake me
Yeah,
up.
that's the
inside.
ADHD part, Fetha. It makes you mellower.
Yeah. It's the
Oh,
same with
like
sugars. Oh, my friends used to drink or have the little sugar cane sticks right before school. And like they'd pass them all out and I just pass out because of it. Like I couldn't do my first few hours of school because I had the sugar. They're like, okay, we can't give you that. Oh, where's my phone? But yeah, it's really interesting finding out you're like, oh, I have a bad habit of this. Like, no, it's your body just trying to deal with your disability. If you're a night owl with ADHD, it's because you have ADHD. We just have a different time clock than everybody else. We're also extra sensitive to. Here's a fun one. I actually have this written down. Da, 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 da. Or maybe it was an annoying thing. It's an annoying thing I think I have. I can figure out plots to shows and movies really quickly because I have that pattern recognition. I don't know I have the pattern recognition, but I do because of the ADHD. And I can spoil movies and shows that are no longer fun. Like I can't watch shows and movies. People are like, "Oh, this is so great." I'm like, "I figured it out already. I'm only episode 2 and I figured it out." It's like, "How?" I'm like, "You can't hype up a show with me. You can't. Just let me fucking watch it. Don't hype it up."
yeah, like for me, like my problem is sometimes I think I'm annoying. Like I think I talk too much. And I know it's not, exactly true, but sometimes I feel like I maybe this is another then maybe this is ADHD. If I feel like I'm actually really annoying somebody, I will literally start scratching this stuffing out of my arms.
Due to
Not
stress,
like
yeah.
not self-harm, but like
Yeah.
a tick. And if I'm nervous, I laugh. I actually had a friend, um I'm still friends with her, but I was because like what she went through, I went through like really bad, or like like breakups. Or I always been in a toxic relationship, and maybe you guys can understand this. Like a lot of people are like, why don't you just get a boyfriend? And I'm just like, it's not that easy because I'm not good at expressing myself, like emotionally, like my emotions to somebody, because I actually had people think I was like extremely bored doing something with them. In reality, I'm not. I'm having fun. It's just trying to express it's hard.
That's your autism side, doing that. They
Okay.
don't, it's, you can blank face pretty easily. You'll do it sometimes with ADHD too. Like if you're super enjoying something, you won't focus on the person. Like if a person's talking to you and you're really engaged, you're not going to focus on them. You're going to be looking around. You're not going to be paying attention. You're not going to be expressing too much, but you're so engaged. So you don't want any other mode of action to happen. Um, Autism, I don't understand they don't if I understand correctly, emotions are really difficult and expressions very difficult, and I don't understand why. I haven't researched into it. Um, but I do understand that, and it's really interesting to spot it when you know somebody has autism. You're like, oh shit, don't think negative of it. You're like, yeah, they're just not expressing because they just aren't thinking about doing that. It's not a priority.
I do the same thing, Fetha, which is part of why I think I'm more ADHD leaning, even though I'm not diagnosed for that. It's a lot of the emotional compensation traits that just regular ADHD doesn't have that I do. That's exactly like that. You can just look either completely neutral or resting bitch face, even though internally you're having a great time, but it's like you don't know how to project those emotions correctly or just like don't care to do.
Or it can come off from like a lot of it is like ADHD, and I think a lot of times like blah, 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 blah. Jump. Maybe you guys will have. Maybe I can't English. My brain's racing now. I just gotta calm down for a moment. Maybe you guys will understand this. You'll be on a topic and you'll be like, "Oh, cat, dog, cat again." You remember that? You like jumping topics left and right, and it's like you like the poor person I'm talking to. They have the most confused look because we'll be talking about a video game. Then we'll be talking, and I'll be talking about a movie. We weren't even talking about a movie. Then I go back to the game. Then I go back to. I
Yeah,
feel
that,
so
that's
bad.
that's a big ADHD trait is we can connect subjects really quickly, and that's probably part of our pattern recognition thing. Um, and it's really funny because another great one is conversing. You don't finish a sentence and you just continue to move on. I'll do it with writing too, just because your brain's moving so fast. But jumping from subject to subject, that's why I'm like, I expected that we're just going to move around subject to subject because that's just how it is. That's very ADHD. And sometimes, like, someone will ask you what you're thinking about. And I loved a great TikTok on this with somebody's like, what did you want for dinner? And he goes through all of his thought processes in his head in that split couple seconds. And he ended up with spatula as the response. But it shows you his train of thought, how he got there.
Spatula.
What was that?
Spatula.
Spatula.
And I saw there was somebody who was like basically a normal thought process is like if you're talking about A and you get to G, it's like A B C D E F G, and then ADHD process if you're at A and you get to pineapple because you're like okay well there's A and then there's like 1 2 3 and then there's like oh yeah there's a pen in there and then you're like pineapple and then you're like apple A apple P pineapple and then you like go through this whole weird freaking diagram red tape thing but then it's in a split second and you get to pineapple and it doesn't make sense to anybody else because they're like A B C D E F G and you're like well clearly I still got to the same place of G but I also threw a pineapple in the middle and it's hard to explain that to people when you're like everything makes sense if you connect it but they can't follow because you just went 50 other places in the split second that they're still on like C.
Yeah, because we process so fast. We just if you. Mhm.
I was just gonna make a joke. I was gonna say I can't believe Jess used that entire explanation to bring us all the way back to pen pineapple apple pen.
Apple pen. Yeah, exactly. But you started at A, but it's pineapple apple pen because you also had food in there, and then there's meat in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a similar situation of like, do you guys ever forget words randomly? Like you know the word, but you don't know how to say it. But you're like,
Yeah,
Oh
I'm looking for
yeah,
this thing. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And here's the
I
thing.
do that
Here's the
all
thing
the
with
time.
that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was explaining to my now ex, um, that I've never. It was like I didn't have grapefruit. I think it was grapefruit. I never ate eggplant. I don't know how we got into the subject. It was probably an ADHD subject that ended up on there, but I couldn't say eggplant. So instead, I said purple cucumber, or it was like purple penis plant or something like that. And he just gives me this look like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't figure out. There was like, you can't remember eggplant. I'm like, no, I can't. I
Hey
got like
guys,
40 fucking
I gotta go
conversations in my head, 2 YouTube
I
videos,
don't mean to
and a
pull you guys
movie
off.
going
I
on.
gotta go AFK for a moment. My
Hey, no
dad
worries.
came into my room, asked if I could run the Dollar General for him because he
No worries.
he ate a gummy.
Just make sure you mute yourself before you leave, so that way you
Yeah,
don't got a
no,
lot
no,
of whole clapping.
no. That's why I was muted earlier. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'll be right back. I gotta go AFK for about like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes tops.
Oh,
So I'll be right back.
dolphin thing. Yeah.
And what I was gonna say is like I know exactly what you mean of like you know the word, it's somewhere in there. You know exactly what you mean, but you can't articulate the word. And the thing is, I'm bilingual, so it happens to me in 2 fucking languages.
Oh God. Oh my God.
I'm
It
very
happens
happy
to
to
me in
have
English and in
friends.
Spanish.
I'm very happy to have friends who, instead of getting frustrated by that, are infinitely amused by like you're trying to say radio and you're like talkie knob box, and they're like, yeah, whatever that means.
I love it.
That's fun though. Love that for you.
It doesn't frustrate me when a friend does it because one, I know how it feels, and two, it's funny.
Oh,
But
it's
when
so
it
funny.
happens, but when it happens to me, when I'm to myself, it's infuriating.
Because like I know I'm not stupid. It's somewhere in here. Your brain's like, I'm just not gonna find it.
It just reminds me of that one thing. It was a Twitter Tumblr post where someone meant to say feather. They called it a bird leaf.
Yes, yes, that's a great thing. My current boyfriend and I run into this all the time. I'll describe something. It's like, did you mean blah? I'm like, yes. What did I say? He's like, you said this. Like, well, close enough. You know what I was saying, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's been interesting to learn how to explain your processes, like trying to do that whole entire. I went from A to pineapple to pen to we're here again. It's like it ruins the conversations because you got to stop and explain it for somebody, which I actually found out like all my friends I grew up with are now diagnosed with ADHD. Apparently, we're called neurodivergent. Anybody who's spectrum, Tourette's, things like that, that have a non-typical mind are neurodivergent. Neurodivergents seek each other out because we don't have to explain this shit. We just get along. And with a neurodivergent group, you don't have to explain how you got to pineapple or spatula. They're like, yeah, cool, roll with it. And now they're going to go they're going to go to teddy bear or New Jersey as their next subject because it makes sense to them. That's what the next subject is.
Hot train doesn't need to slow. It's everyone's on it. We're good.
Yep.
Also, Ralka, the thing you mentioned earlier about what was it? Pattern recognition and like immediately associating one thing to another randomly just by hearing things. I'd never connected it to ADHD until you explained that, but that probably explains why so many times when I'm like hearing someone talk or just talking with someone or whatever, so many times someone will say something and just part of what they say just happens to be a similar combination of words to a song and I'll immediately associate that. Like I can't count how many times someone said, like, oh, this thing is like so far away, and I immediately go to Dragon Force, so far away.
Yes,
Like the
everybody's
immediate
neurospicy.
association.
Yeah, it's really funny, that kind of thing. Another thing is like when you talk to like a neurotypical, it always seems like they're taking forever because you already know what they're talking about and where they're going because you just pattern recognize it and you processed it already. But you still have to deal with them telling out the full story. Like, just move on. Just go, please. You're talking so slow for me. Oh my god.
That's
Another
why
thing I
like
found. Mhm.
oh, it's like that's why classes freaking suck. Like especially in high school, because it's you absorb all the information so fast. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm twiddling my thumbs now. Which I was very fortunate to have. Like, I skipped on every single teacher for some reason that didn't get that because I hear horror stories about it all the time. But I would like draw in class and shit, and people would be like, I have like a very vivid like history class. I was drawing and somebody else was drawing, and she was like, oh, you need to stop drawing. And they're like, well, Jess can draw. And she's like, yeah, but I know Jess is listening. Like, because she let me draw in class because she knew that I was still processing the information and way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
Which I was like, thankful I had so many teachers that just got that. And like, so many teachers don't. And the neurodivergent people, like kids, suffer for it because they're not allowed to do anything but sit there and go crazy.
So I went to 3 high schools. In my, 3rd high school, I ran into a teacher just like that. Only 2 teachers throughout my entire high school career of 3 high schools actually got it. Was my chemistry teacher. Someone was complaining, was like, "She's drawing on her notes." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's see." And he basically tested me right there on the spot. And he's like, "She's retaining information through drawing her notes. It's no problem." The next one was my geometry teacher. And like, show your work, the worst fucking thing you
Hate
can ever
show
ask an
your work.
ADHD
I
person.
hate that sentence
I
on its
fucking hated it.
fight or flight.
Oh my god. So he's like, "You didn't show your work on this." And then he's like, "How did you get here?" And I explain it. He's like, "But why don't you write it down?" I'm like, "Because I know how to do it." And he's like, he just kind of looks at me. He's like, "I get it. I really do understand, but you got to show your work." I'm like, "This is where I'm going to fail." It's like, "I know, and I'm very sorry, but I have to do this." I'm like, "Okay, well, you know how I can do it. I just do it in my head and it's done. I don't know how I got there because it just works."
That was freaking
Give
doing
the
homework for
education
me.
system just grand.
Yeah, like I get teachers who were like, I did have teachers that didn't get it, but they just like let me be. Because I also did the thing where I like went to a different school every 3 years, so it was just kind of like whatever. It was the doing fucking homework for me, which is the only reason I passed is because I had those helicopter parents because I didn't know I was ADHD. But it's like doing the homework is like repeating the stuff that I've already learned so I can ace all the tests completely fine. I don't need to do the homework. God, I fucking hated homework because it's just redoing all the things you already know. It's like, why? Don't let me do it again. Fuck you.
Also, what Kuja just said in chat, I feel that.
I was about to
Yes,
point that out. Like, that's
exactly
totally
that.
Edlrisaur. Yeah, I totally feel that, Kuja, and that's probably why all these dinosaurs are together, because we're probably all neurospicy in a way, and we're like, we click, we fucking click. Yeah, the bringing up random things or song quotes. You have the song quotes, right, Edlrisaur?
Yeah, like song quotes, like it's usually like parts of songs, or sometimes it's like Kuja just random like media references, but more often than not, it's songs.
My boyfriend is memes. And I am inside jokes. I will bring up. That's how my inside jokes happen. Is I'll just
I
make
mean,
a
yeah,
random
yeah,
comment out of.
Vine references.
I'll make a random comment out of
Fucking
thing, and
Vine
it'll be just an
references.
inside joke. Go ahead.
Oh no, just saying, and fucking Vine references.
Oh my
Vine
god.
references,
Yes.
TikToks. I think I was
No.
in like a VC with a Ghost yesterday, and we both have really bad echolalia. And it was
What?
just like us going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and poor Noct in the middle.
What's echolalia?
It's where you will. It's basically vocal stims is what it is, but it's another word for it, and it's also where you will make the sound that somebody else makes because of the
Oh.
vocal stimming. So, like, if you started cat popping, it would trigger my echolalia vocal stim, and I would start cat popping. So I'm echoing you.
That's so cool. I don't have it so much with stims, but I will. This is another ADHD thing due to our masking. Um, we will copy other people's mannerisms and uh, word phrases and stuff like that. Like I picked up a couple from my current
Yeah.
partner. I can hear some that he's picked up from his friends.
Like pockets. Wow, 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 wow,
Wow, wow, wow.
Fuck, I already forgot where I was going with
Fucking
that
well
because I have
pocket.
moved on.
My bad.
Oh no, it's okay. I know this is gonna happen. Like losing train of thought happens all the time. Oh my god, I have to talk about this. So, losing train of thought, really fucking easy when you're having a conversation. How many of you fucking suffer from losing your train of thought while you're fucking writing something out? Like me writing a note by hand, I'm partway through a word, I'm like, I completely forgot what the fuck I was talking about.
Oh
You
yeah,
just
I had to like completely cut people off from like if I'm writing something, I have to be like, hey, do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. I will talk to you afterwards. Like I had to put a hard rule down because otherwise it's just gone forever. And it's like, nope, I'm writing. I'll be back with you in 5 minutes when I'm done writing this. Do not perceive me.
Just reminds me of the fucking Dragon Ball Z abridged. Sir, we will be with you in a minute. We are talking to ourselves.
Yeah. Oh my god, talking to yourself. Um, my stepdad is neurotypical, so he does like my mom's neurospicy as well. I'm very neurospicy. Um, so I have to talk to myself so I can literally hear my thoughts because I have too many thoughts in my head, so I have to talk out loud so I can process it. And I'll just like mumble to myself or just talk to myself as I'm walking around the house to make sure I get a thing done. That's how I do my tasks is you can write a list I can write a list all you want. It's not going to get fucking done. I have to literally say it out loud and hope I get it done. And if I get a burst of dopamine, I'm like, I need to do stuff right now. Last week at 9:30 at night, I had to fucking clean my room, rearrange all my laundry, and put my stuff, my winter clothing away, and then reorganize my closet. Because, ADHD. Love it so
Rage
much. Yeah,
cleaning.
I knew
Get
this
the
was going to be
rage
subject to
cleaning.
subject. Go ahead.
No, I get the ADHD rage cleaning, or just like ADHD rage in general. That sometimes it just pops off.
So I have never allowed myself to really express my feelings and comprehend my feelings. My last relationship I masked real hard. Super duper hard. I didn't even know, like, coming out of that relationship, I had a mental breakdown, and not for, oh, I've wasted 16 years on my relationship, blah blah blah. I'm like, who am I? Because I completely changed myself to match exactly what I thought that person needed me to be. So I was really confused. I was like, who the fuck am I? Because I've been masking for so long. For those of you who don't know, masking is a coping mechanism for you to match society and what society thinks you think societal norms are. And most of the time, you make an individual version of yourself for each individual person. You tend to not do it when you're around other neurodivergents. You might at first, but then you're going to drop the mask and just be unmasked. But you're going to be a different version of you for each person. And it's really weird. Like when you start to notice it, like, oh God, like if you get tired from a big social interaction, especially with a bunch of neurotypicals, you're like, why am I so tired? It's because you weren't you that whole time. You were constantly on edge, making sure that you're performing correctly in this situation and not just being you. It's super weird finding that one out. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder why. Like I had to explain that to a couple friends once I moved out here. Like, oh, that's why you were into this, like the same thing I was. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of it now because you're not directly influencing me, so I don't have to be into that thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think it was COVID actually destroyed a lot of my masking because they're inside. Like I still worked, but I worked retail, so it's like you're too busy in food service anyway to really worry about masking, and you function better unmasked, especially in like the high-paced environment. It makes ADHD happy. So aside from the customer anxiety, food service is fast enough if you work the busy shifts that it doesn't really do anything. But then like the complete lack of interaction except with your own online circles, like ruined a lot of the masking I did for me. But then it like also there's like this weird thing that comes with if you mask and you unmask. Apparently, that I learned about, it's like skill degradation. So a lot of your skill sets are hooked into the masking, but then when you destroy the mask, it destroys your skill sets. So then you kind of like regress in doing things, and you have to relearn how to do them unmasked again.
Oh my fucking
Uh,
god. That explains so much right now.
It's like you're like, why can't I do this thing I could do before? It's because you were doing it masked and you destroyed the mask, and I had to learn how to redo it unmasked.
Oh,
Nicolas Cage face off.
oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. So this is reminding me of Feta said toxic relationship thing. I literally just found out about this like 3 days ago. I knew we kind of get into relationship problems because we can't read body language correctly, especially autism can't read body language correctly. Um, we can't read we try to blend into the situation, make ourselves perfect for the other person. So we tend to end up in bad relationships because we don't be ourselves or allow ourselves to be ourselves. But the other thing is because we try to people please so much due to the disability, we end up in toxic relationships real easily, um, because of not being able to read the biggest one was not being able to read people flirting with you. You only read love bombing. So you end up in a bad
Oh,
relationship because you only understand love bombing is the only way to flirt. You don't understand the subtle flirt because you just simply don't see it. It's too subtle. You don't understand the body language for it. I'm like, oh my god, that explains so much. One
yeah.
thousand
Unless it's
percent.
like some. Yeah, unless it's like very how do I put this? Unless it's like very overt, like even joke flirting that I can see, but regular like genuine people try flirt with me in the past, I've completely missed it.
Oh, the amount of people that I have learned in posts that I've just completely destroyed their egos because I did not understand that they were flirting with me and were just like, he who friend, yay, that's so great. They're like asking me out in this weird neurotypical way. And I'm just like, oh my God, yeah, I love hanging out with you. You're such a great friend. And then they just fucking like are destroyed and demolished. And it's just, I was like, right over my head. I don't fucking, I don't.
Blah, blah, blah.
I love you, friend.
Doesn't even fucking register on my brainwave.
No, it doesn't. That's why it explains a lot with how I haven't been in many relationships, but they've been very bad relationships. And I just realized that I'm like, oh my god. So I shared it with my boyfriend. He's like, oh fuck, because he's ADHD as well. That's my favorite thing. If you date another ADHD person, you kind of forget that they have ADHD until they're like spasm ADHD thing. You're like, oh god, oh shit, that's right. You got that spicy too.
Because it's more natural, right? You just roll with it because you're already like that, and then you're like you don't notice it if both of you are it because you're
Yeah,
both matching.
yeah.
Why
It's
are you
just like
telling those lies?
lies.
Come back.
Welcome back. It was more like he had a really loud, happy stim, and it just blurted out, and I'm just like, I had the parrot that looked at the crazy parrot look like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh wait a minute, he's neurospicy too. Okay, that makes I need to not freak out about that. But it makes conversations really easy and understanding it. Like we don't have to mask around each other. We still kind of tiptoe around each other because we're like, oh, I need to learn you.
Yep.
So what just we went over Fetha was I found out just a couple days ago that I knew we didn't pick up on subtle flirting, but we only pick up on love bombing. That's how we end up in toxic relationships because the people who love bomb are terrible fucking people. And it explains a whole heck of a lot.
I think that's why my ex-girlfriend did that to me.
Um,
it's hard to find relationships sometimes.
Yeah, I'm at the point of I'm not gonna look. I stumbled into this one. I wasn't looking and I stumbled into it. I was like, cool, that's just how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep to my hobbies and find somebody through my hobby. Because if they're into it, I can do the ADHD over explains hyperfixate, gonna have a huge fucking conversation with you about it, and they should not have a problem with it because we're into the same thing. Or I can
Maybe
hope.
it gets to the point where you're like, if you can't take the unmasked version because I feel better this way, then we don't need to be anywhere.
Uh, I can't pronounce that name. Tatko?
Tatko.
Tatko asks, what is love bombing? Love bombing is constant barrage of affection, from hugging to sweet talk to gifts, just constantly being in your view. I bet, yep, there's Kuja's expression. They're like, somebody's going to come in with this. Each person is going to be different, but overall, it's going to be a constant barrage of affection it's just really overwhelming. It might not seem overwhelming to you, but it is a thing. Another thing love bombers will do is the love bombing through trauma bonding. They'll do something traumatic to you, then love bomb you. So it overrides, your brain will override the trauma of it and only see the love bomb in it and just remember that memory. And it's really fucking, like, it fucks up with you. You're like, why am I going into fight or flight mode when I know I like this person, but they're doing this particular thing, but I don't remember why I'm in fight or flight mode when they're doing this particular thing, because they'll love bomb you after the traumatic event to keep that bond stronger. It's really weird.
I can use an
Yeah,
example.
it'll either happen before, like Rosga said, they'll either do something traumatic and then do the love bombing, or they'll love bomb beforehand and then later take the affection away, if that makes sense, as a way of
Yeah.
control.
That's kind of like,
Mhm.
sorry. I said, so I can give an example of them. Um, my ex girlfriend did that to me. So for my 21st birthday, um, sorry,
It's okay.
um, my for my 21st birthday, I just turned 21, I think, and I was in college. I was a full time college student. My girlfriend at the time, um, we met each other through college, like back in my home state before I moved. Trying to word. And so we dated once, and then we broke up because, like, I caught on that we shouldn't really be in a relationship and everything, but we got back together. We should have never gone back together, kind of type of situation. Um, she bought me a lot of gifts, almost like $150 in commissions for me and her. Because back in the day, I couldn't afford that type of money for, like, for art. Because, like, my original paychecks were like only like $180, $200. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I couldn't really afford anything. My job sucked. So, and she, so, like, me, I like to cuddle. Like, I'm not like a touchy feely person. But if I like you and I'm comfortable in it, I'll hug you. But if you're not comfortable with it and you tell me, I understand. You 100% understand that. So I introduced her to my friends, people who I thought were my friends. And I found out she was talking smack about me behind my back. I had no clue. It's like, all those red flags you get from your partner. And you're like, okay, these are red flags. So I don't know what I'm doing, because this is my first, like, real relationship. Like, because, like, other relationships that I had were toxic. And I found out that everything that I did was all my fault. And so she messaged me on Facebook and like, hey, we should break up. Just, I'm like, okay, I understand. Like, even though I'm not stressed. And I found out that instead of, like, talking to me, like, she's kind of like, she stripped all that love from me away and broke me, like, mentally. Like, it kind of goes, it kind of went to the love bombing, but it also went to mental abuse on
Yeah.
top of that. So, like, it's so hard to recover from that. I'm afraid of love again because of that. I don't want to, like, for me to let down my walls again for somebody. I'm afraid because I
Yeah, it's
don't
gonna
want
take
to
a
be
lot of
hurt
work.
like that again.
Therapy will take help with it, time will help with it, understanding what the situation was will help with it.
Yeah.
But for most part, it's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm. That was like 5 years ago.
You brought up a good one, and this will lead into another subject. Yes, we're switching subjects. You said you like to cuddle, but normally you don't like being touched. Anybody else here like that? Like, I don't like the physical affection, but like being near someone, super happy. I found out about the linear play thing, which is you don't do the same thing together, but if you know you're enjoying the thing that you're doing at the same time, you're very happy about it. The linear play
Mhm.
is just being around each other while you do something you both enjoy. It could be even separate things.
Oh, the parallel
Parallel play,
existence.
yes. Linear play,
Yeah, yeah,
parallel play.
yeah.
I've seen both terms for it.
Yeah, that's actually really good for ADHD too, because it's both like an affection thing, like existing in the same place and doing different things. And then there's also like another word for like the productivity version is body doubling.
Yes, I love
So
the
basically
body
like
doubling.
exactly where you work together, so it makes you work. Like if you go to the library and it makes you want to work because everyone else is working, like that's a very ADHD tool to like make yourself trick yourself into working because you're like, oh, everyone else is working, then I will work too. Yay.
I moved back here and I had a friend, I was explaining like my ADHD problems. She's like, that's me. Oh, that's me. I'm like, you might need to see a doctor. She comes back, she's like, I have ADHD. I'm like, okay. Then she's like, can you come over? I need to clean. So I come over. I'm like, so you like body doubling? She's like, what? And I explained body doubling. She's like, oh my God, that's why I always have somebody come over while I need to clean. I'm like, yep. Puts you on the spot.
I'm so glad I ate. I forgot to eat earlier during the stream.
Surprise, not eating is another neurodivergent trait because you either forget because your brain's going zoom, or you have, I think your hypothalamus is mismanaged, so it doesn't send out the hunger signals correctly because your body chemistry is all fucked up. Hooray! It all comes back.
Oh yeah, it does.
Hey Jess, have you eaten today?
I had egg, even though I had egg, I ate the eggs anyway.
Egg.
So
Well,
yeah,
we have an
go
egg
ahead.
on the stream. Don't eat him. Don't eat them.
Don't eat the egg. They don't need to be eaten.
They
My mom
don't. They
has
don't need it.
ADHD, so if I see her like working at her desk, I'm like, I forget to eat. So if I remember to eat, I'm like, Mom, have you eaten? No, I'm not hungry. Go back to the fridge, get her a snack. Thank you. Yeah, I know. You'll forget to
My
eat.
partner and I parallel play, but my ex-boyfriend hated it. It felt like it was a waste of time. Well, I can just say a lot of people are different. So like not everybody. That's one of the biggest things. Like not everybody's gonna be on the same page with parallel play, and it's okay. It happens. Like me, I I like to cuddle. Like I like to cuddle if it's like if I'm very comfortable around you.
Hmm.
You know. But like if some random person touched me, I'd be like, "You're touching me. You're touching me. Go away. This is my no square." God, my brain's thinking that damn meme. Yeah, don't touch me there. This is my no square. God damn it.
I don't like. I used to be pretty touchy, but then like as I unmasked, it turned into don't like being touched, and sometimes I'll go through cycles of want to be touched, and then I'm like, if you touch me, I will bite your head off.
So yeah, I'm a very I always thought it was due to growing up being abused, but now finding out it's very much an ADHD thing. I wonder if it's because it's overstimulating for us and will distract us from what we're doing. They're like, no touchy. Let me just do
Oh
my
yeah,
thing.
100%. Like, because you could, because you don't have a filter on your brain what your brain is processing, right? Because that's part of it. And so it's like if somebody's touching me, then I'm like thinking about the sensation. I'm thinking about the way their skin feels. Then it devolves into like a little bit of germ ick of like, oh, have they washed their hands, and anxiety like about that, and then like 10,000 things at once barraged from a single touch. And especially if I'm finally focused on doing something, it makes it even worse. So if like your touch is completely breaking me out, as if you're like shaking me violently if I'm in a focus zone. So it you get snappy, snappy, snappy.
Yeah, and in my case, it's a little different. Like, if it's a close enough friend or someone that I trust enough, I'm fine with like physical touch or cuddling and stuff like that. But if it's someone I don't trust enough or someone I don't know, don't fucking touch me. I don't do it.
Yeah, that's another one is the focus. I think Jess mentioned it earlier. Like if I'm writing, we were writing or anything like that, don't talk to me. I was really into Final Fantasy 14 RP, like all night with RP, but I cannot read or write if someone is talking to me because I've been taught to focus on the person who's talking. Because if you ignore
Same.
them, you're being a bad person. So I'm in the middle of an RP, and my partner's now complaining, like, "Hey, why aren't you responding?" I'm like, "Because my partner in real life won't shush up, and he knows I have this problem, but he continues to talk." Um, so yeah, it was really difficult. So I had to end up RPing later and later at night just so I can focus on that. And at first he's like, "Oh, it's ignore." I'm like, "No, dude, I can't read while you're talking to me. Like if I'm in doing cutscenes for games, no talkie, no talkie. Only the words. And sometimes the words, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck they're saying."
The Tasco was asking Roscoe a question. They're asking like, "Hey, just wondering if Roscoe will put a video up for this later."
Yeah, I might actually do that. I'll probably download it from uh Twitch,
OBS.
and put it onto YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. It's Rosga Art. It's the same. I don't really post anything there, but I made it just for like if I have good VODs, I'm gonna pop it up there. It's not gonna be monetized because I curse. I'm pretty sure swearing is a stim for me. Can't help it. I am a swearing sailor para.
You know what, Roscoe? The one thing I need to do, because I cuss like a sailor too. Let's just get Art of Roscoe and Feather together wearing a sailor outfit.
Oh my
Let's
god, my
go.
my Lala felt well, she was actually a Taratara in 14 was the joke. She only cursed and she would have like auto translate and it'd be curse words, but it just have like symbols for auto translate. Gee.
I love the Gons. Hi, how are you doing?
My gods. Oh,
Welcome to the table.
God says P.
P. P.
Okay then. Oh god dang it, Roscoe.
This was a
Scream.
good one. This is a good one. What is surprisingly easy for you compared to others? Like something you're just like, why,
That
why,
shit.
why don't you get this? Why is this hard for you to understand? Like that kind of thing. What you guys got?
Science stuff. Oh my god! Like trying to help people with their home. The, when you're trying to explain, like you have to help somebody with their homework, and it's like I'm trying to break this thing down for you in the simplest terms in 8 different ways, and it's still not clicking. And I know it's not your fault that it's not clicking, but I don't know how to explain this that you're not getting it, and then you're just like yeet self and out of a window.
For
Edlrisaur.
me is
Oh,
for
yeah, Feather.
um for me is I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Being able to paying attention to details, like really paying attention. And I can tell you like so so your stream can probably understand. So I work in a prison, so a lot of times having like the ADHD and the autism and everything really did help me overcome my job and like prove people wrong, because like I was told that people actually told me I was the R word, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the one thing it taught me is that a lot of the people judged me instead of trying to get to know me. They're like, "Oh, Feather's weird." Like, "Oh no," like because like they never dealt with somebody like me. And I understand that I'm not mad. It's just like get to know somebody before you like judge them. And all these people thought I was gonna get fired, quit, working around inmates and dealing with like a lot of stressful situations. I proved everybody wrong. Still there, but let me tell you, I hate my job. Um, the one thing I will say is proving people wrong. I like to prove people wrong. Saying just because I have like little, quirks and little ticks and everything, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And a lot of it too is explaining something to somebody. Like I will literally throw all of this information at you at once, thinking that this person's gonna understand. Nope. And I'm not really good at teaching people. I've never been really good at teaching people. So what I do is I let them do hands-on. If you know what like I'm both a visual and hands-on person. It helped, it's just so I'm like, you know what, for then me explaining in detail, it's easier to let this officer, teaching this, this newbie hands-on stuff. I let them, make decisions and I try to help them the best that I can, you know and I always been very, straightforward and honest, and I, blah, blah, blah. But I think one of the biggest things is watching movements and actually paying attention to like body language and everything. Because like I'll give you an example. Doing a security check, inmate ran from the bathroom to his cell, and it's kind of like like red flag in your head, and I end up searching him and I found a 13-inch shank on him. So if people don't know what a shank is, a shank's a homemade knife. That's a piece of steel. And it was 13 inches in length. It's stuff like that, like paying attention to like body language and everything I caught on. And, try and teach people that it's not easy. You know what I mean? You can't just teach somebody to like read body language. It's like explaining that to somebody. It's like talking to a wall sometimes. I'm like stuck in a rock and a hard place.
At least for the sounds of it, that may be closer to the Audi side of the Audi ADHD.
Probably. I don't know. Just talking. I'm sorry.
I would say okay. That's fine. Edlrisaur, what's your thing that you find you figure out or can do easier than others that they can't just comprehend it immediately?
I don't fucking know.
Oh,
I never thought about it. I've never thought about it.
that's I when I lived in California, I had a lot of tech friends, like a lot of engineer friends and stuff. So it was one of those things that I started picking up on it. Like, you guys have master's degrees. You're fucking smart. How am I figuring this out faster than you? And it's just that pattern recognition or quick to learn kind of thing. Like I found out with ADHD, we can stay very calm in an extremely stressful situation. A great example is like someone gets hurt, we will be very calm during it and just be able to work through it. Because we can just kind of take ourselves aback from it and look at what needs to be done and just get it done. What else is mine? I did mine with the show and movie pattern recognition for plots and stuff. That's because I'm a cinephile and I just have a huge memory storage of it. The biggest one for all our neurodivergent friends or neurospices, we're very creative. We are extremely creative, be it from writing to art to music to just being an actually freaking creative person with thoughts and ideas. Very common amongst us.
Oh man, I have a friend that's
See,
like
it's
ADHD,
depending
but
on the
they're like,
situation. Like, obviously, if it's something high anxiety, like I have anxiety, but you mentioned the being able to stay calm thing, and I do remember at least two very specific situations where the situation was horrendous, but I like emergency kind of situations where I've managed to stay more calm than I should have, at least in one of them.
yeah, I saw something about that. It's basically kind of like because we're always in a state of emergency, basically, our brains are constantly in that state. It's already natural for us. So it's like,
That's my
oh, okay, this is fine.
that's my secret cap. I'm always panicking.
Yeah. But I had a friend who's got ADHD and he's like super creative, but he has like the rare like maths creative, and it's kind of insane. I don't understand it, but that's like the rare.
Mass
But it's like
creative?
I draw, yeah, like we do sketches and we can work out problems through drawing. Like that's our thing, kind of for the most part. Like his thing is math, like spreadsheets, math, arithmetic.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I
he
love the
does.
math ADHD people.
Yeah, they're fucking insane. I don't understand it at all. It's witchcraft. But it's so weird. Like
I
they
wish
just
I
get
loved
math on
Gumbies.
such an insanely different level of understanding. You're like, wow.
People who are that good at math scare me.
It's so
Don't.
cool.
I'll hide.
So
I'll
cool, but
hide
so
from you
scary.
then. I'm really good at math. I'll hide.
Yeah, like he's like, oh, I'm gonna just here's this thing that I need to figure out. I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet. He gets very excited about spreadsheets and it's adorable. But it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to formulate this complex equation. I don't know how to program, but I'm just going to teach myself how to program and then formulate this complex algorithm to express this thing. And you're like, oh, I don't understand what you just did there. That's the next level. Like, this is like doctorate level math. He'll just do in his head. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So another dumb one that's similar to like, oh, I'm just going to do this random thing because this interests me, and your science. I was having a conversation with my ex and just talking about stuff, and I ended up talking about quantum physics, not knowing anything about quantum physics. He's like, you're talking about quantum physics. I'm like, no. Yeah, so we watch a video. I'm like, this is not common knowledge. What? This isn't common knowledge? No, it isn't. This is theoretical. I'm like, but
Oh, the thing where you watch videos like that are just like on quantum computing or quantum physics or black holes or gravitational theory, and you're like really excited about it because it was interesting. Like, okay, I learned this recently, and I was like, okay, learning's great 'cause it's fun, it's interesting, it's stimulating. And then like I was like, oh yeah, I just learned about this, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, are you not interested in learning things? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what? What? That doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you want to learn everything? Like, why is that not a thing that you want to do? They're just like completely uninterested in it. Like a lot of neurotypical people just don't care. And you're like, how do you not care about all this cool shit that we could just learn about?
that you didn't know and now you can know.
Just like, nah, not interest me. I'm like, what? What?
Like, I've never really thought about it much about like, the what you mentioned, the like something that it's easier for you with ADHD. But I guess, and this is a weird one, I guess understanding complicated lore, if that makes sense.
No, that
Like,
totally makes sense.
I legitimately never had trouble understanding the Kingdom Hearts timeline, but that's apparently the one that everyone apparently has trouble with.
I love Kingdom Hearts timeline. I actually could tell you what's going on, but
Like so many people say like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is like the most complicated thing ever, and it's like back when I used to be like super into Kingdom Hearts, it's like, the fuck are you talking about? This is it's not that complicated.
I love the learning thing because I remember when I was going into college, my mom's like, "Oh, we want to major," and I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "Honestly, if I could afford it, I would just have you be a permanent student." I'm like, "That sounds so cool! I just want to learn all the things."
Oh my God, I wish.
Permanent
Wouldn't that be
student.
great?
Yeah,
I think that all the fucking time. Like, can I just learn everything, please? And just that can be my job, my life now.
yeah, I know,
Little
right?
bit of everything, all of the time.
Yeah. Here goes the song. I love it. It's okay. Um, and apparently, like because we have that addiction for new knowledge and stuff like that, it helps us do research and shit. That's why I know a lot about ADHD is because I wanted to know about it and I kept learning about it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool and so fucking weird and I'm really fucked up. Let's learn more.
Also, why you go through that pipeline of like starting something new, it's like, well, at least for me, I've noticed it's a pattern. Like you start a new job and then you do like insanely well at it very quickly because you pick up everything, you're learning stuff, you're doing everything fine. And then after like an amount of time where the new stuff like stops being new and then you have to do the job part, you just like nosedive, crash and burn because it's fallen into routine and there's no stimulation anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm falling into that with my new job. That's why I keep
Yeah.
asking questions. I'm like, so why does this work? And everybody's like, that's a good question. We don't know. I'm like, hmm.
And then they don't care to find out either. And you're like, but
Oh,
why don't you care?
there was a buzzing sound in the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck is this fucking fire alarm shit? And I asked all the staff, they wouldn't answer. I find out from a resident, like, that's a call button. I'm like, cool, now I know, because it's been driving me crazy for a fucking month now and nobody would answer it. I'm sorry for my bots. They're kind of brutal.
Oh, that's like another thing that I think a lot of neurodivergent people do is they want to, like, they want to know why something is and actually understand it. Because, like, even when I worked at like Starbucks for a while, it was like, okay, there's a rule to not do like XYZ thing. Like, oh, you shouldn't blend multiple frappuccinos in the blender. And like everyone else was just kind of like, yeah, that's the rule. We just follow it. And I'm like, yeah, but why don't you blend multiple frappuccinos in the blender? And it's like, it didn't make sense not to like do it until somebody explains like why it's that way. Like, you can't just take something at face value. You need to actually understand why it works a
Why
certain
all
way or
the
how it works
time?
or what's, yeah, exactly. Or like the call button, like, oh, that's just the noise it makes. And it's like, yeah, but why does it make that noise? Like, explain it.
Yeah, so the one that worked for me was there are 4 different schedules apparently. Actually, I found out 7, but everybody just knows of the 3. I only know of 2. So they're asking us like, I'm like, so who sees this one? Well, everybody can see that one. I'm like, who sees this one? Everybody can see that one. I'm like, what about this one? It's like only staff and reception can see that. I'm like, so why don't we put this stuff on the ones that everybody can see? And they turn is like, that's a good question. They just walk away. I'm like, so is this gonna get resolved? Come on, people. Why not?
They're just okay with it, that just that's they're just okay with existing with it just like that. And you're like
We can make it bigger.
hyperventilating, like,
We can make it better.
no,
Chop. I think I have one to go off of this. Yeah, I love the research thing. The Wikipedia rabbit holes. Oh, those are such good nights. You're like, I'm gonna learn about some random shit, and somehow you end up on a completely different subject. Like, I don't care. I learned about a lot of random cool shit. Oh my God, this was a good one. So, ADHD people, we love to research and find out dumb, stupid, weird things. Kyle, whatever the fuck his name is, he does science stuff on YouTube. He's actually like a really popular YouTuber, a really famous one on there. He does it
Kyle
on the
Hill.
Demon Core. Yeah, Kyle Hill. He does it on the Demon Core, and we watch the video. I'm like, wait, do people not know about this? And everybody turns like, no, this is nerd information. Only nerds know about this. I'm like, yes, I'm a nerd because I just researched that randomly, got a boredom.
The sad part is, I think most people probably know the Demon Core from the Demon Core memes and don't actually know what exactly the Demon Core is and how
And that's
bad
why
it
he had to
is.
do the video. And watch that video. I'm like, no, I already know what the Demon Core is. I just didn't know its nickname.
Forbidden blue raspberry snack.
Oh, this is a good one. We're going to get into some of the negative side of ADHD. Um, what are some stories or things of your disability when it really took hold? So, like, people are like, oh, around here, especially since a lot of people, like maybe 1 in 5 you're going to meet out here, have ADHD just because nobody leaves the area. So we keep breeding more ADHD into the area. While when I was in California, I only had, if I include Jess, 3 ADHD friends out of like 50. It was just, it's pretty rare unless you go to areas where it's just constantly bred into people. Um, Trying to explain it as a disability. And there was twice that I had this issue. I was so hyper focused on drawing that my mind would not register I needed to go to the bathroom. Wouldn't register, wouldn't, my body was going through like the noises and stuff, but it wouldn't let me hear it, wouldn't let me feel anything for it. I restroomed on myself. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why didn't I get this cues for this kind of thing? So a big common one is like the hunger, not eating until you're like really ravenous and super mean about it.
That one.
Yeah. Another bad one is, this is a problem I have. I can't eat leftovers. It's a texture issue. My mind just won't see it as good food. Another thing is it has to be put in a very particular spot for me to even see it. It's not on a particular shelf, and I won't register it's there. I only see like a couple shelves, and that's it. All my food that I currently have in this house are all open. Like everything's on an open shelf, so I can see what I got. Um, and then the last one is obviously being overstimulated. If you don't know what overstimulation is like, you probably have suffered from it. You just don't know what it is. Like being able to taste the air, like hearing color, and like your senses are god awful to the extremes that everything is so loud. You can just see the subtle movements. If some lady passes by with perfume and it's like super overwhelming just because your senses are heightened so much, you just need to chill out. Only had that happen a couple times since moving because I never really allowed it to happen. But what are some of your stories like for the bad side of the disability?
So for me is I don't like certain smells. Like you were talking about like perfumes. There's been times where I actually have like not you don't want to be rude, but there was times where someone can walk past you that strong mother effing perfume stinks. Or like high pitched sounds. I don't like loud sounds. Like anything sharp piercing. My ears ring really bad. Sensitive hearing. Um I lose um I lose I lose conversation. I get lost in conversation. And or like if there's too many stuff going too many distractions around me, I have a hard time focusing. Like hearing color. Yeah, I like hearing color. I like to draw and everything on top of that. But the downfall is like hopefully I'm answered the question right. I'm sorry. Bum, 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 bum. But yeah.
And mine is like, I get the overstimulation, but usually it's from like being in a place with too much sensory stuff, so it's not as bad. I also get really bad understimulation, where um, if I'm like in an environment that's not stimulating enough. So this is an ADHD thing. It's called intrusive sleep, and that's probably my most dangerous one because it can like you basically your mind is so understimulated it decides that you're better off shutting down and being unconscious. It's
Oh
Mhm.
shit.
similar to narcolepsy, so people think it's like that. Um, but it can happen. Like my big one is I almost had my driver's license taken away because I can fall asleep while driving. If
Wow.
my brain is not stimulated enough, it will just like I can't control it. You just conk out. And there's nothing you can do about it. Caffeine doesn't help. No, nothing helps. The only thing that helps is being stimulated, and whatever that means. For me, I can do podcasts. I have to find really, really interesting or like high octane podcasts or music to listen to. Music doesn't always work. Podcasts don't always work. So it's just like a constant battle of finding something new stimulating in order to not, crash and die.
Oh, that explains
But
like
it does
I'll
it at
go to
work
sleep
too.
for nothing.
Yeah, and that's part of what literally it made me drop out of college and fail out of college just because the classes weren't stimulating enough. So I'd fall asleep during class and I couldn't do anything about it, and I didn't know why it was happening. And it happens with work too. It's a constant battle to try and fight the executive dysfunction of the sandpaper in the brain of doing a really repetitive, boring task and finding ways. That's why I'll sit like in Discord calls or watch Twitch streams or something. I have to have multiple things going on to keep my brain stimulated so it's awake so it can do something. Or, just falling asleep. And you can't fall asleep while you're working or doing classwork because that causes your life to fall apart and you like it's really bad. So like that's the part of my ADHD that's actively harmful. And like really destructive, and the disability part. And it's kind of like where you have to sit down and be like, okay, like I get you have people be like, oh, I have ADHD too, ha ha ha, squirrel chase, like whatever. And like, yeah, it's fine, that's a joke. But then it's like, okay, I need you to realize that this is something that I have no control over and it's actively destroying my life. Like without any form of medication or therapy, it's just gone. I couldn't make money. I couldn't function on a daily basis. I would forget to eat. Like it's harmful and it's a disability because without some sort of mitigation, like, or coping mechanism, you cease to exist and you are actively hurting yourself, unintentionally, of course, but just because of the nature of your disability.
Man, that's been like my biggest thing is understanding, like explaining to people, no, it's a disability. Haha, squirrel. Oh, that I had so everybody's little AG. No, 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 you don't. It's not that. So I don't have the sleepy one, but it explains why some days I'll just go to bed because I'm just bored. I got nothing to do. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed. Why? Because like there's nothing better to do. I'm just going. Um, my my understimulated one is I get angry. I get so angry because I got nothing to do. My brain is so bored that I'll get super fussy and evolve into anger. And I didn't understand that until moving out and living here, that that's a thing. I'm like, because I never really allowed myself to get angry or anything. I just kind of just shut down and would just go to sleep, so I just wouldn't have to deal with it. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting because I'm like, I don't want to snap at somebody because I'm bored. My previous boss, he would realize because I told him like, hey, I have ADHD. If you see me doing this or this, I'm just trying to stim. I'm bored, blah blah blah. So he'd come over, he's like, you're gonna be able to grill now. I'm like, okay. You just give me stuff to do.
Yeah, the sleep one especially is so hard to explain to people, um, because it's like if you've ever taken because it's not like you go to sleep because you're bored, right? It's not like I have nothing better to do, so I'm gonna take a nap. It's like if you've taken a drug that forces you to fall asleep or anesthetic or something, where they count backwards from 10 and you pass out. It's like that. Like your body is just doing it on its own. Like no matter what you do, I could be standing up and then like that's why it's like kind of akin to narcolepsy in that sense, because it's not like a thing that you have control over, and it's like so
Involuntary. Yeah.
difficult. Yeah, so I could be like standing up and then just like be asleep and then wake up and realize I fell asleep. Um, and it's like you get a full night's rest, you have full meals, nothing mitigates the sleepiness, and people don't quite understand it. And it's a newer aspect people are understanding. That's what it causes now. And I'm like, I don't know how do we fix this? Please, like, please stop. But I'm glad I found out about it, and people are like, I've noticed a lot more people talking about like what you set up today, like talking about it, and people learn about different facets of it slowly, and like medical professionals are slowly learning about it, and you can like go to somebody, and if I'm like to my doctor, because how many crazy looks have you gotten if you've ever gone to a doctor and you're like, yeah, I'm so bored I fall asleep unwillingly, and they're like, that sounds stupid and crazy, and they give you that side eye look. And you're like,
I've never
nah.
heard of it. It is crazy, but it's like it to me because I have ADHD. I'm like that makes sense. Your body's just like, why waste the energy? We go sleep.
Yeah.
Get it?
And
Go eat.
What you got, Edlrisaur?
Wait, what was the question again?
Um, what stories do you have where the disability really took hold? Like it's hard to for other people to kind of comprehend, and you're like, no, this really is a disability.
Um, Instances with other people, I can't remember off the top of my head, but instances where it just kind of hits me. Um, the forgetting to eat thing. It's not even so much that like just won't eat or whatever, or oh my like I can't focus on eating right now. It's literally I forget to eat. So a lot of the times hours will go by and I'll just forget until my body's like, hey, you're gonna die, motherfucker.
That's a good one. TeaTImeJes just brought up in the chat object permanence. Um, that is where
Yep.
it's in simple terms, you forget something's there. So it can be
Yeah.
your household objects like your dresser and stuff. You're going to bump into that, or doorways. You take a turn too early. This applies to people. This applies to people. This is why you will stop talking with friends because they're no longer interacting with you, that you literally forget they exist. It's not a bad, like, you're not doing an ill intention. They are just no longer a stimulant. So therefore, they are not important enough for your brain to focus on because it's already thinking of its 30 or 40 other things. Why do I need to think about its friend who's not interacting with me? It's like, it doesn't need to, it's not there. It's really, I had it with my family. I had it with my family. I have it with friends. It's really hard. I'm trying to teach my friends that I've left, hey, you need to interact with me because I have this object permanence thing. On the other side is the hyper focus and addiction to not just new subjects and things. You can do this to people too. If you make a new friend and you're like super excited and you constantly hang out with them, you just want to keep learning about them and want to be spending time with them, it's a hyper focus because you're getting a huge dopamine from it. And eventually it's going to roll off and you just stop talking with that friend. Yeah, it's part of the dopamine deficiency. Thank you for the follow. I saw a little pop up. So it's,
Oh,
you'll
it's
lose the
Tibby. Hi,
dopamine
Tibby.
and you're not going to talk with them more. And since they're not talking back, you're going to object permanence them out of your they're just going to be gone. And this can even happen to, like, for instance, you're parallel playing and then you just get so wrapped up in what you're doing, you literally forget that other person exists until they talk and they startle the shit out of you. You're like, what the fuck? You feel like you're going to have a heart attack because your mind just forgot that they're there.
Yeah, that ties into like the I think we started calling as a joke like friendship degradation. Like a lot of neurodivergent people don't have a thing where because of the object permanence, the person is just gone and you forget about them. But your friendship level doesn't degrade. Like normal people, they're like, you don't talk to me, we're not friends anymore because I've grown past this. Whereas like a lot of neurodivergent people are like, you can pick up a conversation with somebody you haven't talked to in a year, and it's like you just talked to each other yesterday.
Because we all understand. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you're back here. Guess what? You're now a new shiny. Let's fucking talk.
That and the time blindness, fucking the time
Oh,
blindness.
oh my God, trying to explain that is the hardest thing. That is probably that and explaining people to spoons thing and why you can't fucking finish laundry. So for those of you who don't know, time blindness isn't just not knowing time is passing. This or noticing time is passing. You have the same exact thing. So it passes by real slow. It might be called something else, but there's like two sides of it.
Oh,
Very two
that.
sides. Oh, I
Yeah,
hate the
or the
slow.
like you just
That.
perceive time entirely differently, so you don't realize it's been like 3 months and you think it's been like a day, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot, especially at work, like in any job I'm in. If I'm really busy, like there's a lot of customers, I'm taking care of a lot of things, it's tiring, but the shift usually goes by really quick. Whereas if there's not as much to do, like 4 hours will feel like eight.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it happens a lot. Like, someone was asking the other day, how the hell does a pocket stream forever? Blah blah blah. I'm like, you're just into it. It's a time blindness. Like if I'm really into a stream or a game, I'm playing it until I'm like, man, why am I so tired and why am I so hungry? That's because you've been playing this game for 15 fucking hours and you have done absolutely nothing. You should go to the bathroom and eat. Like, oh, okay. And then you go pass out because you can't perceive it. Even if you're like right next to a window and the sun and stuff is moving, you're like, well, that's nice, but it doesn't register what has been happening.
It's also like a thing where that's why a lot of ADHD people are either chronically early or chronically late, is because you either cope with not being able to tell how much time is passing by getting enough anxiety, you're always early to things, or you're like me and you think that you know what the time is passing, and then you are like, oh, it's 20 minutes. I've got 20 minutes to do this. And then you realize, oh shit, it's been 30 minutes now. I need to hurry up and get there. Which a really interesting coping strategy I just learned about is because like my therapist was like, oh, you need to set timers in 20-minute increments and then gradually you'll kind of learn what 20 minutes feels like, and then you'll do that. And I'm like, that doesn't work. But a new one, somebody was like, it's like you make, because we're really good with music, right? And memorizing songs and like knowing when a song's going to end and
Playlists.
stuff. Make playlists that are specifically the amount of time for the thing that you need to do, and listen to the playlist in the order of the playlist. And then as you go through songs, you'll have like a sense of when the thing and the time is counting down through the songs. And I was like, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
See, thank you for bringing that up because of the two. I'm the chronically late one, unfortunately.
I'm the
But I
chronically
do
early.
use songs for time a lot of the time, especially if I'm like getting ready for something or on my way to work and want to know how much time I have left. It's like, okay, I need to count like a little over 7 minutes through the Fire and Flames of Dragon Force. I need like 8, 9, almost 10 minutes. Bury the Light from Devil May Cry 5.
Another thing, Eldri, you can do for a chronically late bean, set all your clocks back, or set all your
Ahead.
clocks forward 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, mine are all
saves me
10
so
minutes
fucking
ahead.
much. Yeah.
It's got a daylight savings yourself.
It's
Yep.
ADHD savings.
Everyone gets into my car, they're like, oh, it's 6:30. And I'm like, no, it's actually 6:20. And they're like, why? And I'm like, it works. Don't worry about it.
What you got, Fetha? Fetha?
Oh shit!
It's okay.
I'm zoned the fuck out.
It's okay.
Nah. What were you talking about?
Time blindness and how it affects you. Oh.
Not wanting, smiles, not wanting to get out of fucking bed. Like
Yeah.
I wake, I feel cold. Sorry, zone the fuck out. I think like for me is like I get up for work at a decent time. It's just the motivation to go is I just don't have. Like going back to like when we were talking about like not talking to friends, I have a really bad habit not talking to friends, and I end up losing a friend over that because like I work. You guys know I work about almost 8 to 16 hour shifts. So it's not that I don't like talking to you. It's just I forget to reply back. Like I have a hard time reaching out to people. That's why I enjoy voice. It's easier for me to talk in a group, like in a voice call. So I find it easier to interact with people. But like for like time management, it's okay. But like I'll get up at a decent time. I just don't want to get out of bed. I lay in bed for like an hour to get myself ready for the long work that I have to do. Hopefully that's answering your questions.
I looked at the chat and I thought Tibby said boom ADHD. I thought they said Doom ADHD, and I was like, yes, the Doom guy, new ADHD icon.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I like hearing about Jess's version of ADHD because it's so different from what I'm used to and interacting with people on. So it's been it's been very educational for me.
Very strange version. It's like there's a lot of overlap, but then there's also a lot of like, that's not the typical ADHD thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jess, your ADHD has ADHD.
Yeah, genuinely.
It's kind of like I woke up and you're like, I'm sorry, Fetha, but you're born with autism and ADHD. Here you go. It comes with anxiety, the depression. You'll be all right.
We are all
Smile and
we all
wave.
have that anxiety depression.
It's like the
It's
smile and wave
ADHD.
boys, just smile and wave, and I get the wave, so it fits.
I have crippling depression.
I got it. Jess is a Pokemon and she's just evolved her ADHD to the next stage.
It's really funny because one of the questions on your list is like having a hard time being put on the spot and giving an answer, which like I have like a duality of this because it's sort of the thing where you're talking about where you've masked so hard you've lost your own identity. So if somebody asks me something about myself, I am completely blank-minded. But
Same.
if it's something like a job interview where they're like asking about like my experience, like I don't study for job interviews because whatever I improv will be way better than whatever I can make up. And I could like I tried explaining this to one of my friends because I was helping them prep for their job interview, and it's like, oh, tell us about a time XYZ thing happened. And I was like, yeah, you just take like you can draw from any job that you've had before and make something up about that job at any point in time to fit whatever question they're asking you and make it sound cool. You could do that. They're just like, he's like, what? I don't get what you're saying. And I'm like, yeah, if you're like, what's a time that you had a really difficult experience or something? You can be like, I don't know, one time, like I could be like Starbucks. I can twist that into like an answer for a tech question. Like that kind of shit on the spot. It's like, no problem. I got a story for you, but ask me anything about my own identity. And I'm like, who is she?
Yeah, so I ran into this with my ex that he like we were talking like somebody was talking about like their favorite things and blah 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 and he's like, what's your favorite of whatever? It was a favorite movie. I'm like, I don't know. How do you not know? I don't know. I can't tell you if you were to ask me my favorite food, my favorite music, my favorite movie on the spot because that takes I just have to stop everything and that's the one time my mind goes completely silent. It's going, what is it? 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 Like I don't know. I can't think about that. But when it comes to subjects we're interested in or life experiences, it's super easy. But just about ourselves is so fucking hard that on the spot trying to think about it, it's it's paralyzing. Like, oh my God, fucking absolutely paralyzing. And that's why I'm like, I don't mind people like Edlrisaur sitting there in the corner and it's like taking a moment. It's like, wait, I've been asked a question. Like, it's okay. Just take a moment to think about it. You can come back to it. We're going to have a bunch of other people
Sorry.
chatting. Oh, no, it's okay. Like, I completely get it. Oh my God. I totally
You
get it.
have the self-respective spiral afterwards, and you go home and you're like, "What is my favorite movie? Who am
You're
I?"
fine.
And you just sit and stare at the wall for 6 hours until your new hyperfixation approaches.
Who am I? Why can't I remember anything? Who is this Maria?
Here's a fun one I added to the end of my list. This was yesterday. I run into this, so I'm wondering if other people run into it. What is the one item on your shopping list that you know is on your list that you know you need to buy, but you never fucking buy whenever you're at the store? Mine's the Kleenex box I've needed to buy for 6 months now.
It's like going to the grocery store specifically to buy eggs and milk, leave with a cart full of items, and none of them are not either eggs nor milk.
Yeah.
Can't remember it.
It's happened to me too many times.
A new
It's on brand.
cookie
Can't
scoop.
remember.
Oh my God. Yeah, the Kleenex has been cracking me up. Like, I have it. It's written down. I check everything off my list. Now I just need to go Kleenex and distraction. Get home, like, fucking buy that fucking Kleenex. And you know, I went for the past 7 months. Oh no.
It's like, damn, I forgot to buy the fucking like a specific bread I needed for something, but at least I have this family size box of Cheez-Its.
I started in my friend discords where like we have like smaller groups of friends. I would start channels that are called shopping lists. So whenever anybody thinks of something that they need off their shopping list that you think of and you know you're going to forget to write down, you write it in the Discord because you're always in Discord because it's stimulating. So it's like, I can go scroll up through my Discord channel and see what things I put
I
there.
need that. I fucking need that.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, the I need Discord because it's my stim. I'm trying to explain to my other neurodivergent friends, like, please join Discord. I'm always on Discord, but I can text you. I'm like, you don't fucking text me anyways. Join on Discord. It's super easy. It's super stimulating. Just Discord. I doom scroll Discord, please. I know I'm on like 20 Discords, but they're all so overstimulating. I like it when they're small and everybody can chat. And I see people in the chat room like I can't fucking do that right now because I'm too shy and it's overstimulating and I'm too weird. I know it. I'm sorry.
Dare you apologize? Don't you apologize?
I
Holds
know.
water gun.
Everyone's just like, just join the voice club. I'm like, I can't. I'm gonna be weird and I won't know what to say, but eventually the wall will break and be like, okay, kick down the door. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm weird. You're just gonna have to put up with this shit.
You'll realize that it was just you the whole time. We're all weird. We're all
I know.
weird down here. Every I've had like 3 days straight where we've been talking about like whenever Ghost has entered the room, we've been talking about like cannibalism or specifically legs for various reasons.
Is that why there's a picture of you just holding up a leg? You're like, whoa.
Yeah, well, we were playing the forest.
I need to see the picture of Jess with the leg.
It's in the art section. You just gotta scroll up.
Bet.
Yeah,
Try to be
legs,
fruit themed
legs.
Fennec.
Wait, we can't let Twitch know we were talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about long pork. Shit, that's the same thing.
Mm.
Apparently, it tastes more like venison, but I suppose it depends on what kind of lifestyle you lead.
I would be very flavorful.
Your Lisa Frank colored.
No,
Probably
I'm
tastes
a
like gummy bears.
Lisa Frank sour gummy dinosaur. Come on.
See, you can't say that to a carnivore dinosaur who loves sour gummy candy, because now I have to eat you.
That's why you're on the other side of the screen.
So speaking of the
That's why I'm in the
ADHD
corner.
family and your
Rosca.
little, do you guys have snacks in your room? No, you guys don't have the secret snack stash. Mom knows I have.
Stopped keeping the snack stash because I was a snack stimmer
I
to
am
a
too.
detrimental degree, and now I flipped where I don't snack stim, so I have to keep them downstairs so I don't chew on them.
In my case, it's the ADHD thing of like gotta keep the room sanitized, not even organized, just clean in the sanitized sense. So I don't like having food and stuff in the room just in case anything spills.
I have snacks in my room. It's usually sweets. My mom knows that. She'll come in. You got the sweets? I need something sweet. I'm like, don't worry, I got you, fam. Usually it's sour gummies in my room and cookies.
Sometimes I'll like
Mhm.
hide candy so that way like it's not in my face so I forget it exists. But then like if I'm really craving something really, really, really badly, it'll like, oh yeah, I do have candy somewhere, and then I go dig through 6 drawers to find it. So it's like enough of a barrier that I'm not just eating candy all day.
Oh, that's good. The water thing. Oh my god. So this was one thing I actually came across a TikTok, YouTube, whatever the fuck thing. It was a ADHD one. Is like, are you the kind of ADHD that you can't drink water because it's overstimulating or understimulating? I'm like, dear God, that's why I don't drink fucking water. Now I found out a way to drink water. It has to be from 2 particular containers. I cannot drink it from any other containers, just these 2 containers. And it has to be ice cold. If it is room temperature water, it has to be from a plastic bottle that I have to unscrew and do all that jazz right then and there. It's annoying.
I'm the beverage goblin ADHD.
Beverage goblin.
A beverage goblin needs at least 3 drinks at a time.
Yes, yes, I took a photo of that once.
One for stimulation, one for energy.
Yeah.
Jess, are you gonna have like 2 new redeems to make 3 total hydration redeems?
No, because I drink from all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I know you mean you take sips from each of them, but the mental image was a 3-pronged silly straw connecting to all 3.
Spicy water because normal water isn't stimulating enough. Beverage goblins unite. Yeah, so I'm always rolling with room temperature water, ice cold water, a soda, and sometimes a tea or a boozemahal. Just because
What's
I'm
a
like
boozemahal?
alcohol.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, the soda's too overstimulating. Time to drink water. That was delicious. Or you're like, your body's like, I need something. Like, don't worry, fam, I got you because I probably am dehydrated. So here, have some water. I love you, body. See paras. Yeah, we paras. We're a ADHD paras talking about ADHD, along with some carnivores over there who are AuDHD. Except Jess is an evolved ADHD para. She's at her final stage.
This isn't just ADHD. This is advanced ADHD.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up some of those questions because I'm like, they're just things to think about. So if I ask you on the spot, you're like, oh, wait, I thought about this thing. Hold on. This is a fun one. Intrusive thoughts. We tend to suffer a lot from a lot more than neurotypicals on intrusive thoughts. How often do you have them? How invasive are they? And do you have a nickname for them? So for me, it's birds. My intrusive thoughts are birds. So they sit in a tree and
Wow.
they're very noisy the whole time. But the really bad ones are oily whispers because they just kind of slither on in. You're like, where the fuck did this come from? Say something and just yeet on out of there.
Nah, I don't name my intrusive thoughts. I just try to just push them away.
Yeah, I don't think I actually get intrusive thoughts. At least the way that I've seen it described. Like I have like impulsive thoughts or like normal loud thoughts, but they're not like the weird, harmful or like yucky way. Because I've seen it described a couple ways, and most people are like, "Oh, intrusive are different than impulsive," and blah 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 blah.
You've
But I don't think
never
any
had
of
that
those.
thought where you're at a dinner table and you thought you could stick a fork in an eyeball.
Well, that's just an impulsive thought. That's not an intrusive thought.
I've heard those as intrusive thoughts because they just kind of come out of nowhere and invade your space. Like, what the fuck? And then just yeet on out of there.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's like I guess I'm thinking of it in the sense of like because I had actually asked about that once. Like the call of the void thoughts is what those are. Essentially, is like the weird dark thoughts that come and happen and then eat themselves away, but you don't act on them, which
I
is
always thought
like normal for everyone apparently.
I thought Call of the Void were the ones where it's not even a specific thought, it's just the draw or feeling. For example, when you're like standing in a high place and you get the feeling of jumping off even though you don't want to. Like when you're
I don't know.
crossing a bridge or something, you just have the feeling like if that makes sense.
Yeah, or like you hear a baby cry and you're like, I would want to punch that baby. Like that was like one of those like call the
Yeah,
void things.
a lot of people will
See,
associate with
those I
negative, but it's
always
just
thought
like impulsive thoughts that just kind of scream on in. You're like, where the fuck did that come from? Call of the Void. I've never heard them being Call of the Void. That's interesting.
yeah, because like I've heard Call of the Void, but I did never associated it with intrusive thoughts. Like I said, I always thought of it with like again the feeling of being in a high place and wanting and the feeling the draw to jump kind of situation.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that's why I stopped calling the random thoughts that just kind of appear and then disappear intrusive because like the way that I've heard it described, which it could be just a difference between the way my ADHD works and other
It's
people's
true.
ADHD works and my experience with like people who have OCD and stuff like that. Like their description of it is a lot more severe and actively disabling than what mine were. So, which is why I started calling them impulsive thoughts rather than intrusive thoughts,
That's fair. That,
and making that distinction for myself.
that is entirely fair. What you got, Fetha? I'm assuming Fetha's staring at a wall, entering the void of time blindness of I'm just gonna chill out and stare at a wall and just vibe. The more people need to allow people to do that. Just are you enjoying yourself? You're just staring at a wall. No, I'm good. I'm just vibing. It's okay.
Exactly.
Let me just chill out here. This is a good wall. I still hear your conversations. Kind of can't hear them though, but I know they're happening and I'm enjoying them. Let's just vibe with that.
It's actually like it's really interesting. Like it's a tangent, but like like one of the ADHD things I had once I felt really bad. One of my coworkers had OCD, and she didn't tell anybody about it. And I had figured out I had ADHD at that time. But it was like my first experience with somebody who actually had really severe OCD. And came off as her being like just strange. But the thing that happened, 'cause she'd always have to write stuff down and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you don't realize like how disabling that is, or like you make the same jokes like ADHD squirrel. You're like, oh, I have OCD because XYZ thing, but then you're like, you see somebody with OCD and you're like, oh, holy shit, I'm so sorry, I was doing the ADHD thing to you. But it was really interesting because she had texted me one time out of the blue and was like, did I go to the bathroom at this time? And I was like, I maybe, I don't know, I know you went to the bathroom at some point. And then she's just like, but did I go at this time? I need to know. And she's just like sent me walls of texts begging me if I knew exactly when she went to the bathroom. And I was like, I'm so confused. She's like, I'm really sorry, I have OCD. And I was like, oh babes, I have ADHD. I'm not gonna remember. I'm so sorry, babes. It's like the complete polar opposite. And she's just like, please help, I need to know. And I'm like, I don't
You
know.
asked the wrong person. I
You
can't
asked
even
the
remember what I
worst
had for
person.
lunch today. It's a funny story, but at the same time, you're like, oh man, I feel so bad for you because I can't help you because of my disability, and I know how in invasive your disability is, and it won't let go. I totally get that, and I
The
forgot
meeting
to
of the opposites of the disabilities.
yes. Um, so Fetha was said a lot, like right at the beginning of the thing, of how they manage their ADHD with writing lists and stuff. How do you manage completing tasks? For me, it's not writing a list, it's writing it after I've completed a task. So I can get that dopamine of, oh, I got something done. I'll still kind of have an idea of what I want to get done, but I no longer write it down because if I don't get it done, it's a huge drop in dopamine. Like I really beat myself up over it, not getting stuff done. So I'll make the list as I go.
I pray.
You what?
I pray to the productivity gods. Nah, I have I'll try to keep a planner. I try to keep the planner visible. That doesn't always work. Sometimes it's just a case of the panic deadlines, of where you don't do the thing until it's about to be due, and then your brain finally lets you do the thing. But a lot of it is just like actually writing it down and keeping it where you see it. Because if you let that thing go out of sight, it is gone forever.
Then you don't want it to become a common site because now it's a common site and now it won't become object permanence. Like it'll lose its permanence on you.
Yeah, it loses the background. So you got to like write it. Maybe it's in Discord one day. Maybe it's on a sticky note the next day. Maybe it's got a glitter on it the third day. Maybe you color code it the fourth day. And it's a constant battle of evolution of how can I make this note fancy enough that I'll pay attention to it long enough to realize there's stuff on it.
Welcome back, Fetha.
Thank
More
you.
stickies. I had schedules that would work, but the moment something interrupts that schedule will no longer work for me for the rest of my life. My brain sees it as it failed, therefore it will never work again. And it's been very difficult because I found some really great systems, but something gets in the way and now I can't go back to that system. And I absolutely hate it. To try and it's like, why can't you just like, I just can't. You just simply don't understand. My brain will not see it as something that's successful because it was unsuccessful once. Actually had a similar thing with a discussion in applying for that dinosaur Discord, was trying to explain to the moderators that the application to get onto the Discord, my brain cannot turn it off seeing it as a test. And I answer tests completely different than I would just a casual conversation or somebody just asking me something casually. My answers are very straightforward, formulaic, short, to the point, because it's a test. I need to give the answer that I think you want me to give. I ended up failing the application because of that.
Did it again anyway. Yay.
I need to try to submit that application.
I think it would just be light of my senses, but I'm special. It's okay to have ADHD. It's just, I think the big thing is if you have it and finding out you have it, now you can understand how to manage it better and talk with other people on how they manage it. Not all the ADHD is the same, but unlike autism, ADHD has some very, very common things that like almost all ADHD people do. And they all feel very much the same. That's why I was really surprised with Jess is that if she's understimmed, she falls asleep. That I've never heard of anybody like that. I've heard everybody get the fussy and get really cranky and get more or less throw a temper tantrum like a child because they need something. Never seen the sleepy side of it. Well, every person I talk to with autism is completely different. Outside of the I love a strict schedule kind of thing, and I love organization. That's like the only that and not reading people's facial expressions correctly. You can read more of the body language than the facial expressions, and not fully understanding people because of that.
Oh, I gotta get going though. I gotta get some sleep
No
for
problem.
work
Thanks for
tomorrow.
stopping by, hon.
Yeah,
Give
I had
a
fun. I had a lot of fun. Bye, guys. Good luck with the rest of the stream.
Yeah, it'll
Bye.
go for as long as people want it to go. I mean, one of my siblings has ADHDs, but I'm terrified of the thought I don't have it, and there's other reasons why I can't function that way. I feel you. My issue right now is all my family's ADHD. My mom is, both my siblings are officially diagnosed. Um, my mom is not diagnosed, but her brother is diagnosed. So it's like I know I have ADHD, but I can't overcome as many boundaries as they can. So I'm like, maybe I have the autism too. I don't want to have the autism because autism medication, ADHD medication don't go hand in hand. They don't work together. ADHD and autism don't work together because the one wants the order, the one wants the chaos. It's really, but it does explain a lot. That's the one I want to get diagnosed for as much as I want the ADHD right now. I don't know what would be the easier option. So I get the fear of the diagnosis, but once you have a diagnosis, you're like, okay, this is the problem. Now people will believe me that I have a problem. And you can go seek the therapist and the medications for helping you through your situation. Because, man, being an adult with these two disabilities, I know the ADHD for sure, but understanding like autism and stuff, like it doesn't function. The gifted child. Now you're an adult, you're like, cool. Everybody was praising me before. And now they're just like, why can't you fucking get it? They're like,
Oh,
because
the
this is
gifted
not what
child.
I know, the gifted child. I assume Jess was a gifted child.
yes, the eldest daughter, gifted child to burn out ADHD pipeline. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. I wasn't the gifted child because I don't think at the time ADHD was really a thing in girls. It was just a thing in boys, and that's why I can't remember if I've been diagnosed, but like I said, I've been told it since I was a kid that I have ADHD. It was called ADD then, but whatever.
Yeah, ADD has been rolled just into ADHD at this point.
Yeah, it's the same disability. It is. Um, I forgot where I was going with that. So that bird has gone. It's out of there. It's in the sky somewhere.
Oh, and it's like part of the because I didn't get diagnosed until my late 20s, almost 30s. And it's like a lot of that was because like while ADHD thrives in chaos, ultimately they need structure. Like if you want to be successful, you have to have structure, or at least some sort of structure that works with the ADHD. And because like my entire childhood was extremely structured, like I did super well with it. But the problem is I never learned how to build that structure for myself because it was like a pen I was put into and told what to do at exactly what times and when. Because ADHD is kind of like having a toddler in your head constantly, and you kind of have to try and coax it with a bunch of different methods. Which, when you're a kid and you have parents that are super strict, it makes it way easier if somebody's forcing you to sit down at a table and do your homework and you're literally not allowed to do anything else until that gets finished. Even if you're hem and hawing for 3 hours, the thing gets done because somebody's forcing you to do it. But then suddenly, when that's all taken away and you've like succeeded because that's been your entire existence, and then you're by yourself now in the world, living alone, and you're just expected to know how to do that structure, and then your ADHD takes the wheel and you're like, I don't know how to do anything, nothing's focusing, I don't know why nothing's focusing, why can't I do these things? And then
Why am I
just
broken?
like, exactly, you're like, why is nothing
that thought.
happening?
Why am I so broken? That's in 2020 is when I decided, I'm like, why am I so broken? Why can't I do this thing? I'm going to research ADHD. What is this disability? I'm like, I'm not stupid. I'm not broken. I have a disability that prevents me from doing a lot of normal things. And some days I just can't. And that's simply because my brain's just like, nope, we're not doing that. Why? I need it. Nope. I want to do something else. Or I just don't want to be here. So we sleepy. But we're okay. No, we sleepy. Okay. So I've only learned how to manage to keep my mind kind of happy to continue to do things. I'm still trying to figure out the schedule. I'm trying to figure out how to be a normal functioning adult.
I feel like that's like a struggle that genuinely never ends, only because it's like, I'm more in the mindset of like, it's a disability in some aspects, but a lot of it is less like a disability with us and more just like the way that society is structured is just not conductive. Because if you're in an environment that is structured for you, like the rare times that I have been in an environment that favors like ADHD functioning, you like blow it out of the fucking water.
Yeah.
Like, streaming or something like that has like allows a lot of creative freedom, or like doing commissions and con stuff where you're constantly busy doing things, moving around, a bunch of stuff like that, like gets stressful and you run into instances of like executive dysfunction. But a lot of the time it's like successful because you're juggling so much. It's like your brain is like, wee.
Yeah, I sell at conventions very well. I'm very good at being, for lack of a better word, a con artist, but an artist who sells at conventions. While at home, I can easily be distracted or get bored of the art I'm doing. And it's probably mostly the subjects or the characters I get bored of drawing. So it's like I need a manager. I needed a manager. That's just what I needed for art, and it's just not going to happen. That's why now I'm like, okay, I know how I can deal with this. I'm going to take commissions. I'm going to say I'm open for commissions for this particular thing that I'm enjoying right now for the next 2 days. You pay for it afterwards. That way I don't fucking owe you money if I ADHD on out of this. So if you want this piece of artwork, you got to get it now because it's probably not going to be available again because I might not be in the mood for it.
Exactly. And Furry Fied, you had mentioned like sometimes you're like, oh, what's the point of getting, I don't think it's real. Like, it's kind of the imposter syndrome of it all. You're like, what if I am making it up? I think it's just a natural anxiety for anybody that has it to think that at some point in time, because you undervalue yourself so much, because you struggle so much.
Yeah. I'm not diagnosed. I do want to get, like I said, I do want to get diagnosed. I want to get officially diagnosed on paper. If I have it on paper, it's nowhere to be found. To get that medication. So I actually had it. I was on a list, and around me, it's like a year and a half to get your diagnosis, to get into an appointment to get your diagnosis. And they're like, so we're going to call you. I'm like, I don't do phone calls. It causes me great anxiety. You can text me or you can email me. No, we can't do that because someone might spoof it or someone can get into it. I'm like, no, you text me or you email me, because it causes me such great anxiety, I can't answer the phone. Well, I'm like, oh my God, you diagnose people with ADHD and this is a common fucking thing. Why the fuck can't you just email me or text me?
It's literally the fucking, like, the process to get help for ADHD is the ADHD worst nightmare fucking obstacle course.
So I missed that
It's like
appointment.
specifically everything you hate.
I missed that appointment because they called and I didn't answer because it's not in my fucking phone book.
It's like, this is a this is a disability. These are all the things that I struggle with, and now you're doing specifically all those things I struggle with and expecting me to get them done without help.
Please help.
See, that literally just reminds me of this photo or this picture I saw at some point of like a convention or a seminar or something about physical disabilities and accessibility, like wheelchairs and stuff. And the only entrance to the place was stairs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
that's the
exactly
best way to describe it. Well, you can do it. I could crawl through it, sure, but I am. Is that a star? Look at that star. Oh, it's
That's
so
why it took me so
great.
long to get freaking meds, is because like
Eh,
it was a
yeah, I'm
5-year
like,
process of not being able to match those phone calls or not being able or forgetting to turn in paperwork. Ugh.
I know. I want help. Well, seek help. The help's not designed to help me. Get that help. So when I went to the doctor to get my my depression and anxiety under control, at first I was like super stonewall with the nurse. I'm like, I can't do this. But then the nurse goes away. I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna get this problem solved. I might get this problem solved. So I just unmasked. I'm like super energetic, kicky, giggly, shit like that. The doctor comes. She's like, huh. Then she asked me like, my depression's like, oh, so how's your depression? I'm like, yeah, I have like the suicidal thoughts every couple hours. I get out of bed and it's just like negative thought immediately. Oh, you should just kill yourself. Blah blah blah. I'm like, so it's one of these days, and I just go. It's like 9.5 out of 10 on depression. How about anxiety? Like, oh yeah, I'll just melt down. I was trying not to. I cried on the way to a drive because I got lost and my cell phone wasn't working correctly, and Google wasn't talking to me. She's like 9.5 out of anxiety, and the thing's like super fidgety, super energetic, would not stop moving, constantly not making eye contact. Definitely has ADHD. Recommend ADHD diagnosis. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yep.
I know. Plus help.
It was my therapist I went to for depression that was like, you should also she's like, I'm gonna refer you to a psychiatrist. You should get checked out for ADHD. And I'm like, what the fuck is an ADHD?
I don't know what an ADHD is, but a doctor says I got 80 of them.
I love that's the slang for it, is also doing this. I'm gonna type it in. The ADHD. Yeah, I love the ADHD. It's great. It's cute. It's funny because this area I've always, like I say, it's inundated with ADHD people. So I've always grown up knowing ADHD and ADD and what it looks like and what it looks like in boys. They're just energetic, crazy, fucking screamy children. You're like, okay, but in girls, we're so structured, especially with our current society, that we have to act a particular way. We can't be energetic. We have to be prim and proper, blah, blah, blah. So we don't show it. So, like, by the age of 8, you already got anxiety because you can't be you in society. Like, that's fucked. That's so fucked. Where I live, after 3 months of psychology, I have an appointment for ADHD. Oh my God, I am jealous of that. The suppression. Yeah, suppression, masking. It's learning about that masking was so bizarre. I'm like, no, it's not that bad. Like, no, you make a new self of yourself for every single person. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder why nobody knows me and why I freak out when a whole tons of different friend groups get together for one thing. Like, I don't know how to act, and you just get kind of locked up. You're like, okay, I know talk because I don't want to talk. And you're like, why is this? I'm like, oh, that's why I do it.
Yeah, that's why I get like really in small groups. It's fine of people that I already know how to interact with, but then it's like if the group gets too big, you hit the confusion button and just become a wallflower. Or if it's like a new stream, I can be really super energetic with y'all or really super energetic on my own streams. But if I join somebody else's stream, I'm like, I don't know what even if I know them, I'm still like, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know how I'm supposed to act. What do I do?
Knowing what's the common way you're supposed to act in their streams. That's why it's like I'll wallflower in other people's streams because I'm like, I don't know what the etiquette is for this stream. I know the streamer personally, but I don't know the etiquette of the chat room. I'm having this with the Dino Discord. I'm like, there's so many people in there. I'm like, I know I could talk to these people, but I don't know the etiquette of this Discord. If it gets too noisy, I'm like, I can't join that because I want to say my 2 cents, but I will take over a conversation. I don't want to do that. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be about me, but it's not about me. We do this. I'm doing it right now. We share stories overlapping people like, oh my God, let me tell you about this, blah, blah, blah. And it's not you trying to steal the conversation. It's letting the other person know, I sympathize and I understand. Here is a way I can tell you that I sympathize and understand by telling you the story of something similar I went through. Yes, I'm going to override you with it because I have ADHD and I have to held on to this thought for this short amount of period. So you're just going to fucking hear it now.
100%.
In general, what emotion? Like I absorb the vibe around me at the moment. Attention is off and I turn off completely. I got lucky in my ADHD young age, then went through cognitive behavioral therapy, which masked my ASD till I got formal diagnosis at 25. Oh yeah, that's.
Fucking hate cognitive behavior. I don't like. Like I see kind of why it's supposed to help, but I'm also like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. It does not. If it's not making sense, then hey, throw it away. Give me something else.
Yeah.
By the way,
I can take the principles and intellectualize them into actionable things, but it doesn't compute. It does not compute. 2 + 2 = fish. No, 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 no.
not the fish.
I'm looking through my little list of thingies. I think we've covered all these just because ADHD train go burr. Uh, oh, here's a fun one. We haven't talked about this. What's your current hyperfixation? Because we have hyperfixations as ADHD.
You got 3 hours to talk about the entire Destiny timeline.
No, but actually, that sounds really fun off stream at some point. I do want to know more about that game. I like fish.
I'm the
Like my usual like safe ones to go back to every time are one, obviously dinosaurs, and Spider-Man, especially the Spider-Verse. But my current one is definitely Destiny 2 because they came out with the last expansion of the current overarching saga for the last 10 years. And once I can afford it, I'm getting that and I'm going to cry.
I have the problem where personal question was asked, what is identity? Who knows?
Oh, that's fine. I get it.
See, I had that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had that exact same problem earlier. That's why when I read through the questions earlier, I had to think about it for like an hour.
Yeah, no, I get it. Mine's pretty obvious. TeaTImeJes is pretty obvious. I like art. I like drawing. Like to explain to somebody how obsessed I am with art, when I dream an artist. When I going to furry conventions, like, so how do I just talk to a fellow artist? Like, well, you just talk about something other than art. I'm like, but I love art and they do art and it's the thing we have in common. Why can I not talk to them about art? Like, what? So I remember one time going up to this artist and I was talking to her about the medium she was using and actually like getting into it. Like, oh, have you tried gouache? Have you tried cold press paper for your watercolors? Blah, blah, blah. Like, we just hella got into that. It's like, this is really cool. You're actually like talking to me about it. I'm like, I fucking love art. You have no clue. It is the number one love of my life. Every time I get into a relationship, I have to explain to somebody, you're number 3 on my list. Art is number 1. Family and friends is number 2. You are number 3. Well, I'm a number 3. That's just how things go. Friends will always be higher because they're stimulating. I don't see them as often. I see you more often. Art is my thing. It is my love. It is my passion. It is my obsession. I will die for art. My other one is I like spooky things. I love spooky things. And Final Fantasy 14. Holy shit, you're like Destiny 2. I am Final Fantasy 14. Holy fuck.
It's like art is number 1, family and friends number 2, relationship is number 3. What's number 4? Because as we all know, Mambo is number 5.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to get that joke in there.
No, that's okay. I think it's candy. I really love candy.
I think I don't hyperfixate until somebody gets me started on a conversation that gets me hyperfixating, and then I realize, oh, I do hyperfixate. But until that point, it's like in a door where I can't talk about it. Like if somebody's like, oh, ramble about this thing, I'm like,
you're putting me on the spot. I can't fucking do that. I gotta have to wiggle that into there through that spider web.
Exactly. But if you get me started on something, like you ask a question about it, like give me a starting point to latch onto. I did that to poor Volt earlier. It was like talking about the Doom trailer, and then it went off into a game design tangent, and then I just ranted about state of the industry for like 2 hours and was like, oops, sorry.
My God. Jess.
Oh my God. So if you actually watch my streams, I'll go into that, especially with Cult of Lamb, like what fucking engine is built on? I wonder how they did this, like going into the actual game development side of things and how it's built. And I'm like, I don't think this is built on Unity, but it could be. But I'm pretty sure it's built on like going and I'm like, I just want to know how it's built because that's part of an arty thing and it's super cool. And I want to know how to do it, but I am too lazy to learn how to fucking code because that is math. And I don't math.
I was just gonna say, Jess, I think I know one of your current hyperfixations because it's one of mine too. Gojira.
What?
Gojira.
Oh, Gojira? That's right, you're into Kaiju.
Enough that I could rant about it. No.
Oh,
I mean, you just binged watched like all the movies.
Did, but I don't know enough about the lore. Like watching the movies and understanding the deeper underlying lore and secrets is a lot different. But I can't rant about the creature design in every movie.
Oh my God.
There it is. There's the aspect
the costume design. I love the costumes, like going into like how they made the costumes. Like the first one's like fucking
I didn't say
chicken
lore,
wire and rubber
Godzilla.
and shit, and the dude almost died and crabbly. Like, oh my God, but it looks great.
That's how you get the little thing. That's how you get my hyperfixation started. It's not like, what's your hyperfixation? I don't know. Oh, Godzilla, but lore, but also creature design, but also costume making, but also practical effects, but also industry, but also Jim Henson, but also sci-fi, but also oops, we're in a fucking rabbit hole now. Anatomy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I said Godzilla. I didn't specify the lore.
Yeah. I'll go through, we'll go through like phases of different hyperfixations, like going in, like becoming really passionate about something, and you're like, and I'm done because the dopamine ran out. I go through stints of it. Like I get really into costuming, making costumes. Like it could be anywhere from like cosplay to Ren Fair to fursuits. Really into it for like maybe 6 months, and I'm like, well, it's going away, and we're done with that. Now we're going to move on to what's my other one? Oh, we're going to get into watercolor this time, or acrylics, or oils, or ball jointed dolls. That one lasted like 7 years. I was happy that one lasted a long while.
Closet full of dead ADHD hobbies. What?
Oh my God, I know. Somebody mentions like we need to make a fucking website or something for ADHD people to swap their dead hobbies with one another so they don't have to spend any more fucking money on their fucking hobbies. Like, please.
Please. So cool.
Please. My other one, I really love building gunpla. So when somebody's like, I kind of want to get into a gunpla, I'm like, excuse me, slides into the screen like, hey, you want to talk about gunpla? I love gunpla. Have you talked about like this model? This model's really good and moves really well, but this one's really fucking fun to build and it turns out like crap, but it's a really fun build. Just can get into that shit. I love gunpla.
See, I think Gunpow's really interesting. I just can't get into it for the same reason I can't get into physical Warhammer 40k. Too much money, and I don't have the space for it.
That's fair. Gunpow's a lot cheaper than 40K. Believe me, I was a 40K girl. I was into 40K when it wasn't cool for girls and NIDS didn't have their new redesign and it was just the 80s NIDS and they were like 100% ripoffs from the Zergs. Actually, no, I think the Zergs were a copy of them. But yeah, and people are like, what's a fucking girl doing here? Why is she picking up a Zerg box? I'm like, I like the bugs.
I do love modern Tyranids because they just look like bug dinosaur things.
They're so cool. They're so fucking cool. Basically, that started to become a thing when I was maybe 5 years into Warhammer 40K. Yes, I'm dating myself. Don't fucking judge me. It's okay. Cosplay, art, leatherworking, programming, giant robots, Battletech. Battletech is so good. Oh my god, I want to get my boyfriend into Mech Warrior Online because I want to go back to playing Mech Warrior Online because I miss shooting the shit out of things and doing callouts and crap. I was a scout. I loved being a scout. Or I was a catapult. I love playing my catapult. I'm like, I'm just gonna blow the shit out of the thing, and now I'm out of bullets. So I'm just gonna laser shit to death. Sorry.
It's cute.
Me? My rants? Oh my god.
Yes.
I could also rant about trucks and why if you're gonna own a truck, you should figure out what your truck's gonna be doing. If it's just to be a truck and be like pretty looking and not tow, get a fucking gas. But if you're actually gonna tow and tow for fucking like true tow, you get a fucking dually diesel. You're going to have shit fucking gas mileage, but that gas mileage doesn't change when you're towing. You get the dually because it's more weight on the wheels back there, so therefore it's going to like roll better and shit like that. Like I did my last partner, I did the truck rant and the Warhammer 40K rant at him. He's like, "Yeah, I like you." Like, okay, cool. You should hear me about Final Fantasy 14. It sounds like I absolutely hate the game, but I fucking love that game. Someone has a question. I'm gonna try to read this. First, I have to read it, and then I'm gonna be able to hopefully read it out loud. Jess, are you better at reading stuff out loud?
Yeah, I could read it out loud.
Okay, can you read that big block of text? It's really intimidating.
Question: does your ADHD also have an effect on your life/career plans? I have struggled with finding out what to do with my life as my interests are so broad and the hyperfixations come and go, and motivation for life runs out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's actually a big fear I have right now because I'm starting life over. I'm starting life over so much. I had 2 bags to my name and $300 to my name. That was it. Starting over. No degree.
I know that feeling.
It's painful. I could not. I finally got this job after 300 applications, and I really want to go back to school, but I have a huge fear that I'll choose a career that I'm interested in right now, but I'll go and spend the money on that career and I won't be interested in it anymore. And I'm stuck in that fucking boring ass career. Like, I'm trying not to cry right now. It scares me so much. So, yes, it does affect.
I think like a really big thing that people keep like whenever I've talked to people who are talking about this, it's like the way that society kind of forces us to gear up for is that you make a choice and you're stuck in that choice forever. And it's like, yeah, you do put time investment and stuff into things, but it's like important to remember that you can change whatever you're doing at whatever moment you want. And this whole thing that we've been forced into our whole lives of thinking that you need to stay somewhere and sit there isn't real. It's not a
Yeah.
real thing. You could just do it. And what
If you don't like the job, leave.
yeah, and what contextualizes that, like what I try to tell myself anyway, is like, especially with time blindness, like trying to figure out how long things are and how long ago things are and like how much time something will take. I kind of put it in the scope of my life up until a point. So like from the moment you're born to graduating high school, for example, like I'll use that as a context for something. I'll be like, okay, that was what, 18 years? High school's 4 years. So you know how much you learned in high school, roughly. Like you can kind of visualize like, or grade school or whatever it is, in the amount of time, like the 3 or 4 years that it took in that development period, how much you learned in that time and what you did. And the same thing for like whatever higher education or lower education. And then being like, I did that in 4 years. Okay, if I'm 25, 4 years, I can go through another high school and still not be 30 yet. And then you're like, oh, okay, I have like 5 more high schools to go. And then you're suddenly like, wow, okay, I have like 3 high schools worth of time to learn a new thing. And I'm an adult that can better process these things than I was when I was a hormonal angsty teenager. So then you're like, oh wow, actually there's a lot of time to do stuff. If I did all that shit in 4 years, like, and that was 1 high school worth, then another 4 years, what could I learn? What could I do if I want to switch into something?
But time's not the issue for me on that fear. It's the money. Schooling is
Fortunately, we have
money.
the internet. So for the most part, you can teach yourself literally anything.
But you can't a lot of them you can't just dive into. Yeah, some of them you can though. Some of them you just take the test and you're there. But a lot of them require a degree of some sort. One I'm interested in, this was a thing that when I was starting over my life was figuring out what jobs go well with ADHD. Here, I'm going to list some really weird things off for you, but then you're going to think about it like, yeah, that makes sense. EMT, because we can be very calm in very difficult situations. We do very well in AMT. A lot of us are in customer service because we do well in very stressful situations. The one I'm interested in, but the problem is I don't know what state I'm staying in, and one state is a lot more expensive than the other. Mortician. Because if you deal with the people side, you can deal with them in a very emotional state and you could stay very calm. Or you can deal with the weird, cool thing of that's a dead person. And I'm going to make them stay like that for a long time. That's super cool and weird. Like, super weird. The state I'm in is Illinois. And in order for me to, I think it's 60 credits, 60 college credits. So I have to pay out the ass to be able to be a mortician, and they don't pay that well in this state, and I still have to do 60 creds. That's my thing, is I always think about money because I don't make a lot of money right now. I've never made a lot of money. The time is fine. Yeah, I technically only have like 5 more years to technically have a kid and start a family before like they're going to go into school when I'm retiring. But with the current state of things, it's not going to fucking happen. My retirement age is going to be 80. That doesn't concern me so much as the money and paying off that debt, because I have a lot of friends who went to school and they're going to pay off that debt until they're 60. It's just,
Yeah, there's
I can't fucking
definitely
deal with
like,
that.
I think there's a lot of like barriers to a lot of careers. But there's also like, that's the hard part for the ADHD part, because trade careers are always really easy to jump in on because we learn
Yeah.
so fucking fast, especially if they're hands. And then like you get a little bit of a barrier, but then there's still like ways around it, but the ways around it are not friendly towards ADHD. Like there's a lot of scholarships that just never get picked up. There's a lot of programs for adults going back into school that basically pay your way through it. There's a lot of programs for careers that need people that will basically pay your way through it. The problem is they're like buried, number one. And then number two, a lot of the application processes are not very friendly to ADHD people. And you could still like get into some of these with trade versions of the same thing. Like for example, like paleoscience, I was like, well, obviously I can't do anything related to paleontology because I don't do a degree. But then like there's avenues around that where you can still do it as long as you teach yourself the scientific papers. They don't really care. Like you could do art and do paleo like art for like actual companies and stuff, and that's all like self-teaching kind of thing where paper only gets you like, it's interesting, and there's a lot of stuff you just don't know until you have to go fucking dig for it. And I wish all that shit was more accessible so you could find it easier.
Yeah, I think acknowledging what careers are out there, because a career I really wanted to get into was practical effects, especially practical special effects makeup. I didn't know it was a field. I didn't know what the name for it was. It was one of those days that I had books on like latex casting and stuff like how to make molds and all that sort of shit, like how to make a mask, but that's applied to your face, how to do that special stuff. And my brother, like later on in years, is like, why didn't you go to school for that? I'm like, I didn't know there was a name for it. By the time I realized there's a name for it, it's gone by the wayside, and you have to be so fucking good to be able to get a career with it. It's still a struggle. If I knew it when I was a kid going in from high school to college, I probably would have landed a job. But not knowing those kind of careers exist, like mortician, like I don't even think about mortician. I didn't know, what is it? No, not social engineer. No, it might be social. There's like people who design roadways. There's a career for that.
Yeah.
People who design buildings, but not like architecture, like the actual big structure behind it and stuff like that. Like there's so many careers out there that you just simply don't know exist. And that's a problem with the high school right now. Sorry, we're going to get into this rant. That they don't teach us about these kind of jobs that exist. They're like, oh, just go to school and get a degree. It's like, but what do I want it in? Like, they don't tell you, like, no, you can go to trade school and become a mechanic. You can go to trade school and become a plumber. Man, you want to talk about two jobs that will always be needed? Those two. You want a job
Yeah.
that you will always give you money? Those two.
And
But
there's
it's like,
jobs that like they're like the practical effects. So you're like, oh, you should have gone to school to that. Some of that shit doesn't need school. Some of that the school is a scam. And it's like
yeah,
people push you to go to school, and it's like you don't even need to. It's just about like all the school gives you are the network connections, which you just as easily do by finding a way to network with those people outside of the school, paying them to come visit. And it's
cosplay.
like that's more friendly to exactly, cosplay, or going to a bar where those people hang out and then talking to them that are like more ADHD friendly. If you're the like social type of ADHD, that's a real fast way to get in.
Yeah, but the problem is like when I was growing up, the internet wasn't what it is today. It's not super easy to find these networks. So I'm born a little too early for the internet kind of thing because I was dial up. I existed without internet. Like it's having to have the two phone lines so someone doesn't pick up the phone because you're on the internet and completely cut your connection kind of thing.
Stealing the AOL trial discs so you could sneak online in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Yeah, and the entire thing's like you're like, oh man, I hope that doesn't wake somebody up. Shit's so crazy. It is really crazy. Like knowing kids now grew up with cell phones. Like I did not have a cell phone until I was like 22. Just because it wasn't common. It just didn't have it. And the only reason I had it was because I needed it for work. That was it. it's there's plenty of resources out there to find careers that you could be successful in with this disability. Um, it's just knowing where to look, and yeah, you don't have to go to college for all of it. You can do the trade schools. You can learn the particular skill, but if you're going to learn the particular skill, you got to network. You got to network and you got to be confident. And it's not one of those like, "Oh, I'm so good." No, show confidence, show that you can do it, because if you think you can do it, you can show that like, "Oh, I'm so confident. I know I can do it." Other people are going to think you can fucking do it. So you're going to do it. You're going to get that job.
So much of it's just like knowing somebody and then being personable too, which is like I think that's one of the strengths, despite all the anxiety that comes with ADHD. If you can like hit that particular click, I feel like it's almost easier for ADHD people to do that like kind of networking side, and being like people want to be around you if you're in the environment that you thrive in, because it's like that's where you get your energy. Like that's where you start succeeding, because you're like in your hyperfixation or in the thing that you want to do, and you're happy and you're thriving and you learn so fast and you're really good at like an ADHD person on their fucking hyperfixation bullshit is like somebody that you want to be around, because it's just good energy, and that's the part where you're like take advantage of that shit to woo your way into people's hearts and get the job.
Thank you for the follow. Um, someone was bringing up. I have to scroll up for it. Hold up. Where's my scroll button? No, give me my scroll. Twitch, why you do this to me? Someone's saying, "Oh, everybody says I should go to art school, but I don't want to because it's expensive." You don't need to go to art school. I wanted to go to art school. I really wanted to go to, but then I found out it's like they don't really teach you jack and shit. Do online courses from whatever interesting learning site there is. It could be YouTube's. Learn skills through that on skills you want to learn or think you should know. It doesn't really matter that degree. The big one also is if you can't word write like most of us, learn the correct terminology. I was failing job interviews and job applications because I was freelance artist for 8 years. I used the wrong word for that. You know what's the right word for that? Entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur for 7, 8 years. Then people are like, "Oh, that's a big fancy word." And it's like, I was my own business owner. Like, okay. I'm like, no, I was my own business owner. I had to learn social media. You're like, oh, no, no, no. Like, no, marketing on social media and what times to fucking post so it gets the most views, where you need to go. Each social media has its own freaking social cues and chat, like tagging. Twitter, you can't tag a lot. Instagram, you have to tag like 50 tags, this and that. You have to use particular keywords. What's the current keyword? You got to keep with it. Oh my God. That's a fucking nightmare and I hate it. I don't want to do that to be successful on streaming, but I'm like, when I settle into my job. Go ahead.
No, I was just giggling because it's so true.
Harsh true is being good is not all, unfortunately, knowing contacts. It really is just the contacts. Like that's a big benefit of going to college is you're learning alongside people who will still be in the same industry as you, and you can make those connections and be able to have those connections for getting into jobs. Like if they get a job, like, "Hey man, you mind squeezing me in?" It's like, "Yeah, cool. I know this person. They're really fucking cool," and they can back you up on that. Luckily, if you're not a shy ADHD person, you can make those because we are big ass social butterflies, especially when we like find other neurodivergent, like, "Ah, bitch, I can unload on you." Like my Warhammer 40K rant and my Warrior and Truck rant earlier.
Yeah.
Let me just bomb all this information on you because I want to share this. And if you want a special interest with me, we can be friends.
People will always pick somebody who is more personable and can work with their team over somebody. You can be the best artist in the world, but if you're an asshole, they're not going to want to work with you.
Yeah. OP is great for self-teaching. Oh my God, it's such a great tool. The problem is like a lot of people on YouTube will use incorrect terminology. I'm looking at you art streams that say speed painting, but you're not a speed painting, you're a time lapse. I want to learn how to speed paint. That's a time lapse. Learn your fucking terminology.
Good night, banana.
Sorry, that's a big thing of mine. Like, but it's an art thing. I get very pissy about art things when people use the wrong terminology. I'm like, it's not the right term. Don't teach the people the incorrect term because you're gonna these are defined. God, marketing yourself and stop posting my art for years because it mentally drains. It is so draining because you have to watch the numbers to make sure that you're getting the right advertisement and that engagement. You have to make sure you engage with people. The correct time postings for different time zones. Like if you want to be successful on Twitch, the correct time to stream is between, I think, 2 p.m. Pacific as a start time. I know Pacific because that's just the one and I was researching because then you're hitting all the correct time zones for like all around the world. It is like the best start time. And you're going to gradually increase your numbers. They're going to like swap around because people are going to be going to bed in Europe. People are going to be getting off of work in America. And you're just going to have this prime fucking time. If you do night, it's really hard to get that fan base at night, but you're going to get a really unique fan base because you're going to get like early Europeans, late night owl Americans. Like it's super cool. I can't do the night owl stuff because I'm like, I don't have the energy. I'm done with my day, please. I just want to game. Daytime I can do. Those are time lapses. Oh my god, that irritates me so much. Mood. Edlrisaur, are you staring at the wall?
What?
Okay. Just making sure you're still existing there.
It's almost Eldries in any time.
You shut your face hole.
I suck at socializing. I can't, but only if people talk to me first. I was sent to CVs for over a year, and nothing. Only got small job due to a family member. For me, it's really hard because of the disability and trying to know what are the correct social cues and conversations to bring up with people. Like, I hate small talk. I really don't like doing small talk, but I'm learning better how to do small talk due to my job because I don't have time to talk with everybody. So we can just small talk like weather. Oh my God, the weather. Oh my God, the traffic. I'm like, this is boring as fuck. But I don't know you guys. So I'm not going to info dump my favorite ADHD fucking topic onto you because you don't have the time for that. Also, you'd be like, what the fuck is she talking about? Because they're all neurotypicals.
So true. I like the tip of just like saying what day it is always really fun. They're like, oh hey, how are you? What are you doing? And you're like, it's a Wednesday. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, yeah, bye.
Get out
like,
of here. I just said one word. Let's go.
the neurotypicals enjoy when you say what day it is.
I love it. I'm using that from now on.
I was gonna say it's Flat Fuck Friday, but it's really not.
What day? It's Sunday. Okay.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. I'm like, what day? I just worked a 12-hour shift for the first time ever, besides my art careers, which are like 15-hour days. I'm like,
Oh no.
I don't know what day it is. What day is it? I want to be FFing right now, but I think FF gets shut down tonight, and I'm really upset.
I can't believe they're shutting down Final Fantasy 14 forever.
No, it's just a patch. But I need my dopamine. That was a slap the wrist kind of the arm thing for I need the shot. Hand sparkles. Oh, jazz hands are the best. Oh my god, I love jazz hands. I'm moving to Lurk. Patch is out tomorrow, I thought. I think it's out. No, it might be out tomorrow. Belle, is it out tomorrow? Thank you. I can't remember. So I'll FF tonight because I've got work in the evening tomorrow, so I can stay up. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys ever want to chat with me about shit, it's art in Final Fantasy 14. I will chat your ear off about that shit. I love it so much. I'm not like I like dinosaurs, but I can't name them. So yeah, I'm like
name the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah. Did you know there's a ceratopsian with a flippy flap that flips forward? He's cute. I'm Adamantoys and Migor but most of my mains are on Addy. My old 1.0 my first 1.0 character's on Balmung, my second one's on Addy. Info dump. I like that people can remember the dinosaur names. Like Gallimimus is really cute. I'm like, oh, I like that name. Actually, my favorite one is also a stem. One I like is also a stem word for me is Pachycephalosaurus. I can say that word all day. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that one's really good.
There's also Majungasaurus.
Majungasaurus? What's a Majungasaurus?
Majungasaurus.
It's a real one.
What is it though?
It's a theropod, yeah.
It's kind of like a
long neck?
Carnotaur family-ish.
Oh no, the theropods.
Theropods are the two-leg
Omnoms.
meat eater.
They're Omnomosauruses. Got it.
Omnomosauruses, yes.
Do I have a Discord? I do have a Discord. The link might be below. Hold on, let me go find This. Hold up, I gotta go click on my page. So there might be overlapping noise.
I know Pocket told me about the biggest of the hadrosaurs, which is Shuntungosaurus.
Shuntunga. Yes, it's officially open. The link is right below. So if you're on mobile, I'm sorry, I don't know where it is on mobile, but if you're on the actual website, just scroll down. You're going to be like personal Twitter, art Twitter, Thorn, donate, Pastel Para Parade Discord. It is officially open. That just opened when I hit 250. I don't know how many fucking followers I got. It might have been 225, like right after my celebration stream of having 200 followers. The 300 followers stream is going to be another art stream with art giveaway. Yeah, I'm always active on Discord. Like people can SMS me. I'm like, I don't want to talk to that. That's the phone. The phone's the bad thing. You're like, but Discord on the phone. Like Discord on the phone, on the other hand, is not an SMS or a phone call. It is a Discord. Oof, mobile.
Different
There
brain
you go.
category.
Thanks, Jess.
Acceptable.
Different brain category. Another one that's fun to say. That's actually Kuja's favorite theropod, Displetosaurus.
Displetosaurus. Oh, what's the long neck with the fins on its head? Neck thing.
Amargasaurus.
Amargasaurus.
He's cool. He needs pets. He also looks like he will pick fights with theropods no tomorrow and kick their ass and be like, what? Throw hands. Amarg. I love all the nicknames for them. Like, I don't remember Taco's full name, but I like it's called a taco.
Hatasaurus.
Psittacosaurus.
Yep. And in Paleo Pines, they're all chocolate tacos, so I call them Choco Tacos.
We got a blue one.
But then, it was in the aisle. It was the black and white ones called Oreos, and everyone's like, "Why do you call them?" I'm like, "Well, the Oreo is actually part of its name, but it looks like an Oreo." I'm like, I love this Oreo dinosaur.
Oh, I forgot about those. I love those too. They're so
They're
cute.
so cute. I think they're in Bob. I think there's a digging ones in Bob, if I remember correctly. But they're super cute.
Oh, you know what? You're so right.
Yeah, I like playing those.
There you go.
I remember yesterday during Pocket's Path of Titans collab, we saw a huge herd of Argentinosauruses, but everyone in the chat didn't want to type Argentinosaurus, so they just called them Args.
Args. Oh, I love that.
Args.
It's like a aisle. It's like, oh, you're Dilophosaurus. No, I'm a dilly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a dilly.
I've heard them Dilo. I've never heard Dilly.
Dilly. My favorite one is because it's not like a gigabit, it's gigabit. So it's a gigasaurus or a
Giganotosaurus.
Yeah. So I just call him gigas, and everyone's like, Giga. Like, I know, that's how I say it. I think it's cute. They're a really cool, scary looking dinosaur. Yeah. But I call them gigas.
And there's a classic example, Compsognathus, but we just call them compies.
Compies.
Thank you, Jurassic Park.
Yep. What? I adore Lambulance. What the fuck's a Lambulance? It sounds like a dinosaur ambulance, and I love it.
Whoa, Blackberry Lambulance.
I love it. Another one is I found out there's apparently a micropachycephalosaurus. You're like, that's not a pachycephalosaurus. You look at it, it's got tiny, tiny spikes on the back of its head. Like, it's an adorable pachycephalosaurus. Does it headbutt? Lambo on Path. Aww. I need to play more Path of Titans.
Oh, Lambeosaurus. Okay.
Lambulance. I love it. What are some other fun words you like to say that are stimmy words?
Just been doing cat pop.
What was it?
Just the cat pop sound.
Cat pop? Oh, yeah.
Cat pop.
My favorite one I picked up in the last couple of years is trilling, which is a cat noise. So it's like, it's super satisfying on the tongue because of the trill. Like it feels really good, and then it makes a nice sound. Oh, here's a good one. What's your favorite stim toy?
I don't think I own any stim toys at the moment. My usual stim, when all else fails, is shaky leg bit syndrome.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do the shaky leg, and I draw. I got I think it was actually Markiplier's talking about it. It's called an Ono
Ono roller? Ono
Yeah.
roller is the best. Oh my god. It's
I got
so
one of those.
good.
What's an Ono roller?
It's a very satisfying silent stim toy.
Yeah, it's like 2 rolls together and they're attached, so you just roll it in your hand, but the rollers roll individually and then they
calming.
roll around in a circle together.
And you can
You
make it cold
spell
or
it.
super warm. Oh,
Yeah,
and
it's
oh,
really good.
it's on Amazon. Go get one. They're like $35. They're fucking fantastic. It is
It's
one of
worth
the
it.
best stim toys.
Ooh, and
Another one's
Monster Clay. Monster Clay's another one.
oh, that's really good. I like noisy stim toys. So if they make a popping sound or something like that, I fucking love noisy stim toys.
There's also bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. I get these ones that are like clicky, like they click into place. So I make them so they sound like popping knuckles and stuff. I really like it because it has a pressure to it. Super good. The stupid bubble popper fucking things. I'm like, these are stupid. I get one. I'm like, this is the best toy ever. It's so cheap. Oh my god. Pop, 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 pop. Turn around.
See,
Shaky leg is
I
like,
could never get into those ones because I'm used to actual bubble wrap. So
Mhm.
those are just not as
they
satisfying
don't have the same
to me.
thing. Yeah, I know. But it's great if you're just like beep, 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 mindlessly playing with it. My go-to if I'm not doing vocal stims is shaky hands. I love shaky hands. Hate them but love them, especially like shaky hands. I'll do like weird little fucking hand poses. I'll do the shakies. I'll do the slappies. I'll put them in pocket and like do the little snappy clicks and stuff. Shaky hands, jazz
Oh.
hands.
I pace like a motherfucker. If I'm on like a phone call or something, or like on a call, I'll pace. Pace, pace, pace,
Yeah,
pace, pace,
it's
pace,
the only way.
pace.
It's a good way to focus. It is a great way to focus. Pardon. Chewable necklace. Oh, I do want a chewable. Infinity cube, fidget cube. See, the fidget cubes don't come with good fucking switches. I'm gonna call them all out. All their light switch toggles suck. They make great noises, but they don't have the pressure of them. I'm gonna try not to get my infinity cube and spam the fucking clickety clacks right now because I know where it is. Clicky pen works. Oh. I'm just gonna start clicking them. You probably can't hear it. Clicky clack keyboards are the bestest. They make good noises. They are very good and satisfying, and I miss mine. That one is a spare one that's supposed to be for doing my screen transitions and stuff like that, but I can't find a good button combo that doesn't do other things in Windows. So I have to figure that shit out. I know. I'm like, finally, I found one that's control number 1 on the numpad, and I get into 14 and starts doing stuff. I'm like, fuck. No. Stinny slugs. The slugs are really cute. I like them because they make really funny noises and they're funny textures.
Also, completely unrelated, but
Go ahead.
Pocket posted clips from yesterday's Compy Chaos.
Oh my god, I loved that. That was a lot of fucking fun.
That was fun.
I also like dice from D&D. Dice from D&D are so good. I have a pair of heavy metal ones. Here's another weird one. Textures. Oh my god. I'm super stimmy right now. Textures, like having good textures and bad textures. What's like one of your favorite textures versus what's one of your texture you'll deal with and you'll just fucking die or vomit and you're like, I can't deal with this.
Best texture are those fucking magic IKEA blanket comforters that are like the cold blankets and it's like faux down and they're just like, I love that. Worst one, wet bread.
Wet what?
Maybe the
bread, soggy bread.
Oh yeah, I choke on it. I can't fucking do it.
Maybe the real best textures were the friends we made along the way.
Oh. So I have to deal with one texture every day at work. Chalk. And it makes a disgusting sound too. Chalk on chalkboard.
I have
Like,
a solution for you, Razga.
What is it?
It's the fancy Japanese math chalk.
I need some of that in my life. I'll have to
It
convince
comes
my
in
work about
bright,
it.
funny colors too. It's fucking magic.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
have to convince my boss to buy me some because every time I write the date, I'm like, they look at me like, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to throw up. This is absolutely disgusting. You're like,
it's
just
such a
stop
nice
being so
chalk.
sensitive. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
mm, mm, mm. Another texture that will make me try to vomit: satin and silk. Absolutely vile fucking textures to me. I don't know why. I hate them. Absolutely hate them. Happy textures: microfiber fleece or like super soft blankets. Super good. Same with sweaters. I also really like flannel.
Oh, that's fun. I like the super soft fabrics. Touch,
Yeah,
touch, touch.
it's
You go to the pillow
soft
aisle, the stuffy aisle in the freaking store,
and
and you're just like,
it's
touch,
warm.
touch.
Yeah, I that like whenever I do Black Friday shopping, I just touch things at first to see if I like it, and then I'll pick it up and then try it on. I remember going through and like touch, touch. I touch one like, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, that is a disgusting texture. That is not soft. Not texture, but striking metal like on ceramic. Oh yeah, that's not a pleasant sound. The chalkboard sound is really gross for me. Even me thinking about it, it makes my teeth hurt. Like I get a metal taste in my mouth, and I kind of get really sick thinking about it or hearing it. Soggy bread, I gag at. I can't do it. And unfortunately, I really also like spicy tuna, but it comes in a texture I can't handle. So I'm gonna have like two pieces before I start gagging on it. I'm like, I always thought I'm like, oh, I'm just weird. I'm super sensitive. I'm like, no, I literally have a texture problem due to my disability. That's so stupid.
Yeah, fucking food textures are especially a thing. Like, I adore like egg dishes. Like, I make a lot of breakfast food, but if I get a stray piece of eggshell that I didn't notice and suddenly feel that out of nowhere, I want to stop existing.
Yes.
Like if I'm biting into a fluffy omelet and I taste fucking eggshell, I want to cancel my subscription to this earth.
I have soap cilantro. I have that
Oh, you got that
inherited
soap
fucking
gene.
genetics. Um,
So sorry.
yeah. So you're like, does this have cilantro in it? No, you eat it and then soap. Like,
You liar.
I I I I don't want to exist right now. I want a refund. I want to go vomit and lay down, please. You told me there's no
this
cilantro in here.
This pizza is brought to you by Dawn Dish Soap.
Um, then my absolute favorite is when I tell them about that and they're like, but cilantro has no flavor. I'm like, so why did you fucking put it in the food?
I mean, it does. It's literally in there as like a garnish seasoning to add to the dish. So it does have some flavor. And if you have the genetic thing, that flavor is Dawn Dish Soap.
It's horrible. It is Dawn dish soap because it just gets everywhere. Um, Pudding. I did not know you had a pudding texture issue thing. I am very sorry about that. How are you with Jello? See, I like Jello. Jello has fun texture. You can go
I
through
love
your
Jello.
teeth, and it's fun. It makes it taste good, and it's satisfying, and it wiggles. Ever eat something smooth and then it's suddenly lump? Oh, that's the worst. Oh god. Oh, oh. Oh, here's something I found out. So we have safe foods. This is the food you can just always eat. You have no problem with it. It is your safety food. Mine's Nuggies. But you can also really like something, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, it is the most vile thing on the face of the earth, and you cannot eat that anymore.
The food hyperfixation. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
And you have to
While
wait
you're
like 6
eating
years
it.
for it to reset and you can eat it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
I
have foods that I adore. I would die to get these foods. But if I eat too much of them in a row, like too often, I have to wait for it to reset before I can enjoy them again.
Yes. Yes, dino nuggies are the best because they come in fun shapes and I can make them battle each other. But yeah, chicken is like my safe food, especially chicken nuggies.
Or you can eat their heads and have their family watch.
Yes. Peanut butter sandwiches is my other safe food. I have so I come out here and we're gonna have pierogies from a Polish joint. Fucking great fucking pierogies. And I have some and I have leftovers, so I have them the next day. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have fucking pierogies. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fucking pierogies. I eat the first one, fantastic. Halfway through the second one, I got 6 left on the plate. My body's like, this is vile. I'm like, Mama pierogies. But we paid for these pierogies. They're delicious. No, that is absolutely fucking disgusting. I think I'm going to throw. I'm like, okay, because we're not having pierogies then. Fucking ADHD. I worked at a Chick-fil-A for 3 years, free meal, so I had every day. Started making them so sick. It was free, so I had to endure. Macaroni is 100%. I can eat it for a month and then not touch it for a year. Yeah, there's really funny how we could just be like, no, why can't you eat it? Because I can't.
Yeah,
But
that's
why
why
not?
I try to mix up the sauce combinations in my like work free meal, just so I don't get tired of them since it's my only free meal of the day.
Yeah, I could understand that. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the weird food habits. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Cheese also. I'm pretty sure almost all of us are a-okay with eating a slice of cheese and being the happiest fucking camper because we had cheese.
Oh, this is
In my
advanced
case,
ADHD. No cheese. Fuck
I was
cheese.
I was gonna say in my case, I'm really weird about cheese, where I hate most cheese, almost all of it. In general, I don't like cheese, but not strong cheese like mozzarella on pizza, where the flavor gets diluted and mixed in with the oils and the sauce. I adore pizza.
That
Only
cheese
plain pizza though.
is fucking delicious.
Like
I'm a cheeseaholic.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
No, I was saying like, it's just that like I hate most cheese, but specific instances like pizza, for example, I adore. Get Parmesan the fuck away from me. I hate it.
It's so
So-
stinky.
Stinky.
Parmesan is
people
so
eat-
stinky.
And
It
I
is
see people
stinky.
like eat like pasta right out of a whole fucking like Parmesan wheel, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's
what is he
disgusting.
doing?
Fuck that noise. But fresh Parmesan versus the Kraft Little Shaker Parmesan, completely different textures and flavors. Completely.
Don't like it.
That's fine. I'm a cheeseaholic. I live with a cheesy
You could-
family.
You can have all my cheese.
I lived near the state of cheese most of my life, so I grew up on cheese curds. So cheese is an amazing fucking thing.
That's fair. Oh, speaking of textures and shit, one thing that people have always told me I'm fucking weird for, and I realize it's a texture thing. I only like specific pastas.
No, I can get that.
I like spaghetti, and I adore angel hair. All other
Yes.
pastas are just gross to me for some reason.
Oh my god, it's so hard to explain to people. I'm like, I only eat angel hair. Why? I'm like, because then there's too much pasta. But you serve so much sauce. I'm like, there's too much pasta. What about udon noodles? Like, too much pasta.
Yeah, like fucking. I wouldn't count it as pasta because it's not Italian, but I love ramen noodles, especially.
It's a different type of texture.
Or noodles like that. And I can have rice noodles with some stuff. But if we're talking specifically pasta, only spaghetti and especially angel hair. I adore angel hair.
Don't let an Italian hear you, mate. I know. I can't, outside of angel hair, I can't deal with pastas that don't have a texture to them. Because they're too.
Come at me, Luigi.
They're too smooth. So I have to have something with like some weird kind of texture to it. Which is, that's fine because that texture grabs the sauce and then I can have more sauce with the texture and the noms.
I like my angel hair with extra meat, as in like with a meat sauce, and if possible, meatballs along with the meat sauce.
Oh,
Now I want spaghetti with meat
I
sauce.
know.
Spaghetti.
I want to eat all the things. You know why? Because we probably haven't eaten like, I don't know, 12
Yeah,
hours.
we should probably start wrapping up so we can get
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Jess, when I come visit, we're getting spaghetti with no cheese.
That's why we went to food talk, because we're all subconsciously like, hey, it's time to eat. Hello, hello,
So we're like,
hello.
no, conversation is good. Conversation give dopamine. Alfredo. Oh, I can't stand Alfredo. I don't know why. I think I had too much of it at one point and now I just can't do it.
Oh, that's fair.
It's such a shame because man, there's some really good Alfredo dishes. And so many rants towards noodles, just noodle bait. Just suck them up. That doesn't sound right.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
welcome to
hungry.
ADHD. We could rant about weird ass shit.
We gotta go have food, and I think
Yeah.
Jess said her dog needs food too.
Oh.
Yeah, I do have to dip out to feed him because he's throwing a hissy fit. That's why I keep like muting and unmuting, is because he's sitting there making little stampies.
No problem. I understand. Thank you guys for joining me. This was fucking fantastic. I was curious
This
as to
was,
how this
yeah.
would turn out. I'm like, it's just gonna be a whole bunch of people not talking about anything in particular. We're just gonna talk about random ass shit. But we actually covered a lot with what was on my list. So I'm happy we did this talk. So yeah, if you guys want to follow some ADHD streamers, I think I have them in my title. If not, comment in the chat, you two. Give these two a follow if you like some ADHD and you want to follow the random ADHD trips of conversations, because we're all going to have them at some point.
I mean, you can follow me if you want for when I do start, but I am not currently streaming yet.
Then maybe they can follow you, so when you do start streaming, you can immediately hit affiliate.
If only if they want.
Okay. It was a great stream.
Thank you for being such a good host too. You did a great
Yeah.
job.
Thank you. Yes, this
I wish
this
it
was
was-
a good time.
I wanted to plan it out a little bit better, like all the things I wanted to do. I'm like, my ADHD is like, nah, we can put that off, and we get to the time like, I don't got time for this shit. I really wanted to do the VTubers so you can see us all fidgeting. That was the one thing I really wanted, was all of us kind of fidgeting and stuff. I'm like, yeah, Edlrisaur would be just there in the corner being Edlrisaur. I'm like, yeah, but Edlrisaur would have been like, now that you're an egg, I would have put you like front and
obelisk.
center. You are the obelisk.
I am the egg obelisk.
Obelisk.
Thank you, Roscoe. See you
you're
next
welcome.
time.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We should look to see who the fuck to raid real quick. Hold up. Let's find somebody to raid. I need to go to.
I think Pocket's friend Lunar Buho is on.
Oh, he is super. Oh, Vol's on. Vol's another ADHD. We're gonna fucking raid Vol.
Oh, Vol's on. Fuck yeah, let's
Vol's
do Vol.
on.
Vol.
I've been missing all of Vol's stuff. Raid channel. We're gonna raid Vol. Fucking, where are you, Vol? No, I want following. I want to raid Vol, please. There's Vol. We raided Vol. Let's go. Start raid. There we go. ADHD for the win. Let's go. Love y'all. You guys have a great night, and I'll chat with you all later.
Thank you, Roscoe. You're the best.
Welcome. Thank you. ADHD Dino Raid. ADHD Dino Raid.
And then there's me putting Sonic worms in the chat.
Oh, I love and hate those. Oh my god. Let's go.
Sonic worm.
Monk.
All right, thank you again, Rosca. This was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun. I'm very happy. I hope you guys didn't feel uncomfortable with like
Rosca,
being put on the
hello,
spot.
Welcome to the Hollywood Theater. I'm your host.
No, you're good. We signed up for it.
Yeah.
Like, I signed up for this. I know what I'm getting into.
Welcome in. I'm a Skeletotuber, Dinotuber, and Cryptituber, and I've been cursed to play every single video game ever made in a theater in hell. ADH Dino Raid! How are you doing, my friend? How was your chat? I was
thank you
lurking
so
in
much
there,
for
and
having
y'all
me.
were
I'm
making
gonna
some
head out
really,
now.
really good
Okay,
points
ciao
in
for
there.
now.
Like, such... You don't see that talked about a lot on stream, especially not a lot of folks getting together to discuss it. So it was really, really refreshing, honestly. If y'all are not following my friend Rozga, you should definitely go drop them a follow. They're a fantastic streamer. They play all kinds of cool stuff. They do art. They play a lot of cozy stuff. They recently reached they're doing so well. They're doing so well. Again, drop Rozga a follow. Hit that heart button. You're not going to regret it. Happy to help others feel seen. Yeah, exactly. Furrified artist, hello, welcome in. Kairu Cobalt, also good to see you, my friend. Eldri, always good to have you here, my friend. But yeah, welcome in. Furrified artist, thank you for the follow. As a bonehead, you get free drinks and snacks for life while you're on the premises. Raiders that came in with Rozga, tell me something nice about your streamer. I'd love to hear about your streamer through you. And Rozga, you know what I'm going to tell you here, but if you need to do any kind of self-care, eat, drink, sleep, use the bathroom, take your meds, anything like that, now would be a great time. Please take care of yourself. If you need to raid and run for any reason, I also understand. I will not be offended. However, y'all are joining us on day 88 of Volathon. My birthday subathon started on December 26th, and the party does not stop until the timer above our heads hits 0. And also joining us on day 7 of the Hollywood Partner Push. Because ADHD to the point that we hungry. Yeah, get some noms. Take care of yourself. Get some food. And I will remind you to get some food. If you come back in the chat and you haven't eaten yet, I'm gonna remind you again. That's the way it works. Anyway, what is the partner push? I'm pushing for partner to help the community grow and to make it so that I can get to a point where I can give back to the community. That's important to me. And every little bit helps. Raids help, follows help. Lurks and slurks. Slurks are what I like to call sleep lurks, where you leave it the tab open at a low resolution with the volume either muted or low. So you will keep that viewership up. It's really nice. And raids help immensely. So subs help as well. Not as much, but they do help a bit. So every little bit counts. This is a community effort. It's a streamer effort. It is a channel effort, and you know, y'all have been so helpful. So thank you so much for that raid. Dumb warrior, I unga bunga until things dead. They're really cute para. That is absolutely vicious warrior main. All about them slurks. Slurks are great. Slurks are awesome. Also, Nanaki, welcome back. I will hydrate. Ow. What am I getting bonked for? Hi. Yeah. In Final Fantasy, I'm a warrior main. And while I'm a warrior main, begrudgingly, I'm a warrior main pretty much everywhere, even though I try other classes. I appreciate it, Headpad, thank you. Like, no matter what I do, I always come back to it. Like, I want to try other things. I badly want to try other things. But I just keep coming back to it. I'm sure Rozga gets it. Warrior unit. Smooth brain good. Me with Paladin, yeah. I will say, there is a bit of appeal to things like Death Knight and Warlock as well, as long as I can just, you know, pew real good, real fast, right? Just bam, bam, done. Cooldowns, mana, no, we're not waiting for that. All right, so you're joining us during XCOM 2. This has been my current brain rot for the past week and a half. Usually we do a double feature format, but I've been obsessed with XCOM 2, and this campaign has been going great. If you have not joined it yet, we have a Discord, and on the Discord there is a thread for submitting characters that you can even participate in the campaign. If they're not used in the current campaign, there's always a chance of them showing up in the next campaign, because the characters are drawn from the pool randomly, right? Again, thank you so much for the raid. Get yourself nice and comfy and cozy. I'm gonna hit that small ball button so I'm taking up a lot less of your screen. And be looking forward to it this Saturday, if I remember my dates correctly. We got Scarioke coming up. We'll have some guests over. It'll be a good time. You know, we're gonna sing some songs. It'll be fun. We're doing like, I'm not sure exactly how long we'll be going. It'll probably be until like I'm done with that with my voice, and then we'll do something else. Who knows? We've been playing this for months, and this is like the first opportunity I've had to actually do anything with it. So I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you, Conatheus, for being here. It means a lot to me. Let me hit that small ball button. Bam! Taking up less of your screen. Now I can do more pew-pews. And by pew-pews, I mean we're hidden right now, so it's not a, you know, we're not pew-pewing anything yet. Okay, so we have extra defense on the VIP. VIP sees nothing, that's good. Oh no, that's not true. That's clearly not true because the battle music just started. We got turrets. Yeah, no, we're not ending. We just got raided. Oh, we got an elite trooper. Didn't even notice that.
Got it.
In position.
I ain't stopping.
I don't see anything that's gonna pat into. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. ADHD raid. ADHD Dino, which, speaking as someone who is neurospicy but not 100% diagnosed, I don't like calling myself, you know, these things, but diagnosis is expensive. The thing is that, and this has been discussed before, this has been joked about before, we can kind of, what was the quote someone said? Don't worry, we know, what was it my friend says? Don't worry, I know you're autistic, I can smell it. We can smell each other. Yep. Yeah, I was there. Well, since we're gonna mind control someone anyway, let's go and get the big guy in the back. Easy. Oh, wait. That was both easy and stupid. Oh, what were y'all talking about? I love eating vicariously through my viewers. But not vicariously eating my viewers. I don't do that. Okay, turret eliminated. Typhoonosaurus is going to need to be in position somewhere else. I don't like any of this, but I need the high ground. Set you up over there.
Let's move already.
That's right, Goose. I just paid that off! Why would you do that?
C'est faisable.
It's over, Volican. I have the high ground. Great use of Halo bullets from everyone. Can we... Hold on. We're gonna one-turn this entire pod. This is hot. I saw the trailer, Goose.